Are we recording?
Yep.
I'm going to start this off with a great story because this is actually it's super relevant to business in general and just potential. And it's really about potential, and this is the potential here. But so Michelangelo was commissioned to build the statue of David, if you didn't know that, and he was brought slabs of marble from all over the world. Hundreds of slabs were brought to him. Of course, that was no easy task. How many years ago this was built? And so they brought him to the point where, like, the curators of the stones were like, "Dude, we have nothing left. Like, we've run out of options around the globe. We don't know what to do." And one day, they were brought this stone that had a huge hole drilled through it, and they were like, "Well, we have this," and they're like, "We're not bringing that to Michelangelo. Like, we're like this close to getting fired." And they're like, "Well, we've got nothing else." So they brought it to him very reluctantly. They brought him this big piece of shit stone with a big hole drilled right through it. And upon seeing the stone, this giant slab, Michelangelo's exact words were, "I can see the statue in the stone." And so he really recognized, even though this thing was rough and not, it wasn't a pretty thing to look at, it had potential. Yeah, I'm pointing to Josh for those that don't know. But what he did is he realized the potential was something that was very rough and very unrefined, and that had chipped edges and a giant hole drilled through it. And his exact words were, "I can see the statue in the stone," and it's all about potential and what we see. So,
wow,
that's how, that's how a bill becomes a law.
Welcome back to the Whiskey and Business Podcast, everyone.
That is a great intro.
Actually, I love that.
Sure.
We're going to keep it in, for sure.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
At the very least, yeah.
You guys know Josh. You know me. Yeah. But today we have Marvin and David with us. Say hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, buddy. Glad to be back. Thank you for having us, gentlemen.
Yeah.
So if you watched our other episode about, what did we end up calling that, David?
Entrepreneurs with giant penises. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
That probably sounds right.
Yep. Accurate.
Yeah.
And it's a gift and a curse.
Clearly, that's why I'm here now.
It hurts my posture a bit, but I've learned to live with it.
Yep.
So this is a part 2 of that, because everyone at the table is an entrepreneur with a giant
penis. Yes.
penis.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Don't be afraid to say the P word, bro. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Penis.
Say it.
Penis.
Perfect.
It's not monetized, so we're good.
I know you meant all this penis in it.
Penile.
He made it weird. Everything cool and funny that happened has been ruined by the great and powerful Marvin Furrow. Thank you, Marvin.
Anytime.
Josh, can you turn my mic up a little bit?
Yeah. Which one do you
I have a very soft and sultry voice. So
Okay, it's very,
I need
very
to be
calming and
boosted.
relaxing.
Yeah,
boosted.
It's like
There we go.
Barry Manilow.
There's the Travis voice.
Yeah.
Now I can get really serious.
He's an 80s phone sex operator.
Barry Manilow with a gay twist. It's great. I like it.
So today we got the Angel's Envy, though.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
So for this whiskey on this episode, so Marvin came by, and usually I do like a specific, like, let him know, like, what did they like? Mm-hmm. And Travis told me that you were on the Angel's Envy. I was like, just open it, man. Just do it.
Angel's Envy is really
By the way,
good.
thank you. You guys always do this right. We appreciate it. Yeah. We've had a long day, and there's enough alcohol here to kill a small puppy. So, all right.
It's perfect.
That's how we get the best conversations out, man.
Oh yeah. Well, plus that makes
That's
whiskey a write-off. If we're talking about business, I mean,
Yeah.
you start a podcast where you have to review a different whiskey every single episode. You're winning.
You're based,
Okay.
business expense at that point, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Now, when we get more than 4
Solid.
viewers, it's going to be fantastic.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers,
guys.
guys. Yeah.
We can't reach, but the spirit.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It'll be good. So at the end, we'll review it. So just kind of taste it. I know you guys are doing cocktails first, but later on, just see
Cocktails.
what you guys think about the Angel's
Pinot.
Envy.
That's got a real nice, like, caramel malt.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Little
Bouquet
quick
to it.
fun fact about Angel's Envy. Angel's Envy, the bourbon, is obviously from Kentucky. It can only be called bourbon if it's from Kentucky, right?
Word.
So the rye, the bourbon itself is aged in wine casks. So it has that nice touch to it. This, however, the rye is aged in rum cask. So that's why you get that sweet caramel notes
That's a
to it.
really nice whiskey.
I told you.
Yeah.
This is why I picked picked and chose this one, right? This is
I'd like to just say for the record, I went from 6 to midnight with that.
okay.
That whiskey was really good.
Can you please stand upside down then?
There's a
I'm going to do one cock push-up for the group. I can only do one, but I think that's all I need to be a badass.
there's a
That'd be impressive.
There's a Larry David episode that used your exact same technique where he hears that if you want something, just say that you want it and tell the person, I'd really like to have that.
Yeah.
And then like
that's good.
50% of the time, the person will end up like giving it to you. So Larry David hears about this, and then he goes to like he's at like a bank, and he's like I really like that jacket to his friend, and they're like, oh well, I have an extra one at home. Here you go. And he's like, oh my god, it works.
It's working.
And then he's like at a bank, and you okay over there?
I don't know what to do with my hands. It's fine.
You hold your drink and you keep going like this.
I'll do that.
So then he's at a bank and he's like, or it must be like a lawyer. He gets into some trouble like he always does every episode. And then he's like, I really like these pens. She's like, thank you, and like takes the pen back from him. And he's like, so you have a lot of these pens, right? She's like, oh yeah, I assume. Yeah. He's like, well, where do you get them? At the store, like where you get all pens. And he's like, he gets all huffy and puffy because now he doesn't get what he wants by saying. But
Sounds like manifesting, though.
all that to say, though, you pointed it out, and here it is.
Manifesting.
Yeah.
And manifesting's real. That's a real.
It's a real thing.
It's a real
Yeah.
thing in business and in life.
Oh yeah.
I don't have a great anecdote with that, but it's just a real thing, man. I don't have a great story, but that's not true.
Visualize
I do
yourself.
think, I think manifesting is. We got into this in my last podcast, but having a great vision, right? It's the same thing.
I envisioned drinking this,
Yes.
and here I am drinking it
You know,
now.
we talked about my vision in the
Destiny.
last podcast, and that's what everything started with, and it still remains. It's an active living vision, and so since you have Marvin here today, I will say maybe a good intro into who we are, what we do, and how we came to work together is. You guys know I'm the owner and operator and entrepreneur for Lake City Deluxe Barbershop and Shave Company and SMP Inc. CDA, which is scalp micropigmentation. Marvin Furrow is, that's our big backdrop here. Marvin Furrow is the CEO of SMP Inc. USA, SMP Inc. Arizona, with I think 7 locations now across the country,
7 now.
including mine. So we are the largest footprint in the country. And Marvin's vision, when we met, we'll get into some of the details of that, but what I really loved about Marvin was not only like his clean medical style that really was what I was already working towards, but phenomenal visionary, right? And I was very like, hey, what's your vision? Because that's how I kind of that's how I start to break down who am I talking to here? Like, is this guy, like who is this really? Clean, clear, crystal like clear like communication. It's like SMP Inc. will be the household name for SMP across the United States with the best services and products available.
Yeah.
Simple, right? Like, and to date, I've watched this company already. I've been with SMP Inc. now a year. And now I'm an advanced master practitioner with my own practice here. I'm a fundamentals level instructor. I handle project management for the company and any of the initiatives that Marvin and I deem. And Tyler Bennett as well, deem necessary and that are revenue generating or that build our brand. I handle those, but Marvin, this guy's one of the best manifest guys I've ever met. He's a brilliant visionary, and so that's how I was like, oh God, I want to work with this guy, and he can tell you how when we met. I think it was during our training, and I was just like, you guys know me already, so I don't mind saying this, but you guys know I'm a lot. I'm extra. And he was like, so what are you going to do? And I'm like, oh, I'm just going to own the industry. And I was like, I've been doing this like 12 years. And then he listened to me. And I think he was like, oh, wait a second. He's like not joking. And
it's a really good poker face.
Yeah. He was like, holy shit. Maybe, there's more to this. And so I'll let you finish the story. But that's how we met, was in a training. I wanted to train with the best in the world. Marvin is definitely top 10 in the country for sure, and definitely one of the pioneers of SMP. Great visionary for SMP Inc. USA, which is of course our parent company, and then we have SMP Inc. locations.
Yeah.
Las Vegas, Scottsdale, Tennessee, Atlanta, Coeur d'Alene, right here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and we have a couple of we have our eye on a couple other locations as well. So.
And the websites are awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to give a quick shout out. Hey guys, for those that are watching this, TBD Marketing has been a phenomenal creative force for us, and really knocking out of the park for our SEO as well. We've got some plans to help organize our locations and the websites to bring some more efficiency to all of the operations. But we are blown away by these guys' professionalism and the results we're getting. In real time, so we're very pleased with you guys.
I appreciate it.
So I want to make sure people know this isn't just drinking and penis jokes. This is like legit. This is business. And
True professionals.
We really appreciate what you guys have brought to the table for us, and we know we can continue to help each other. So
thank you.
It means a lot coming from you guys.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, you guys are rock stars, and I've been through it all. In 11 years, I've seen so many different marketing companies. So you learn from each one. It's a lesson. There's some that work and some not so good, right? So you don't bash, you just move forward and you just don't make the same mistakes. And I think that's what life is you figure out what happened, don't do it again, and keep moving forward. That's all you could do, right? So here I am at this stage with you guys, but it's been amazing. Best website I've ever had. And I don't plan on changing it no time soon. So let's keep rocking and rolling, and we'll crush it out of the park.
And what I love about it is every time we make an improvement on your website, I go back and work on it. I add it back to David's
sites.
That looks cool. You put that on mine.
I was like, gold buttons. I didn't get any fucking gold buttons. Uncle Travis, whatever you're doing, stop. I need gold buttons on my shit so it looks cool.
Well, and then one day I'm like, congratulations, David. You have like 70 blog posts now.
Yeah. I saw
it's just like, boy.
Yeah. Hey, listen, and also for the record, I am seeing results trickling in. I have my website is newer. Marvin's has been established for much longer, as is Las Vegas. But even in the short time that we've done this with the graphical interface and the creative and the SEO, I do have Google leads that trickle in, and we haven't even done, this is all organic. We have no paid advertisements at this point. So for those of you looking at this, considering this, don't be a fool. Get with TBD and really have some real conversations, and
tell them we sent you.
They will make shit happen, and make sure you tell them, SMP Inc. We sent you.
Major props.
I appreciate that, guys. Yeah,
of course.
Heck yeah.
So I thought an interesting topic would be how SMP Inc. became a thing.
Okay.
Because it's not young, but you've been doing SMP longer than SMP Inc. has become a company. Mm-hmm. So we may have chatted a little bit, we cheated a little bit, but I think that there's an interesting story there that would be valuable to entrepreneurs and whiskey drinkers alike.
All right, sure thing. First of all, hats off, Dave. Appreciate that. Those kind words. Really appreciate that. But my story is pretty interesting, man. I'll take it back. So I know a lot about whiskey and a lot about alcohol because I used to be a beverage director and a mixologist in Las Vegas. Nice. And that was my claim to fame for a long time. And there's no way in a million years I would thought I'd ever quit that job. I'm like, who wouldn't want that? Like, I'm on the strip in Vegas as a beverage director / mixologist. And I could give away drinks and just befriend people and just on the strip. And it's like my connections throughout Vegas was huge because of that, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I was cushy. I was like, this is great. I would never do anything else.
The tips were pretty good though, right? Like on the strip.
Tips were amazing. Salary was amazing. It was just the life, right? Like my address was Las Vegas Boulevard. I lived on the strip. Like it was ridiculous, right? So here I am living the best life. But the one thing that was wrong with me, I had, or to me was my self-conscious, was my hair. Like I had to wear these fancy suits or vests and stuff like that. I couldn't wear a hat. And so I'm Filipino and white, so my hair would be super dark on the side, but I was bald on top. So no matter how much I shaved it up with a razor, you'll see the dark on the side. So I just felt like Krusty the Clown. It was killing me. I was like, there's got to be a better way. So I Googled, couldn't you just tattoo this on your head?
What year was this, Marvin?
This was about 2014, 13,
Damn.
Right? Yeah, so it was a hot minute ago, right? And it was towards the latter part. So I Googled, couldn't you just Google this? And it came up, but it was only in the UK. It wasn't even in the US. So I went to the UK. And I said, let me get this done. Went out there, got it done. stayed for a little bit, came back, and I was like, I could do this. Let me see if they teach this stuff, right? Because when I went to college, I cut hair to get by, right? But I wasn't like this guy, like who's a legitimate barber. I mean, I was just cutting people's hair. I'd cut my own stuff, nothing crazy. But I had style, so I was like, I think I could do it, if not better than these guys, right? Because I was asking for like a crispy hard edge up a hairline, but they wouldn't give it to me, and I realized that they just didn't know how.
Right.
It just wasn't a style for them over there, right? So I was like, dude, these guys just don't even know how to do it. Like, but where I'm from, and I was like, this is what we want. We're in the States at that time. It was, R. Kelly and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like them days, everybody's like, it was crazy. So, long story short, ended up doing it, and I was practicing, and I was getting pretty good at it. But I was like, this is gonna be huge.
Was it a school you were going to?
No, I just took an online course that did my head. They just sent me synthetic skins over the mail in the mail, and it was like, take a picture when you're done and send it back.
Really?
And they're like, cool, looks good, right? There you go. That'll be $5,500. I'm like, what the? It was like pretty jank. It was like the most corrupt shit ever. I mean, no one should do this. Like people today are still complaining about 3-day courses and all this other stuff because it's not ethical or whatnot. You get everybody, barking, thinking they know, and there's some person that that what. Come on, talk to me. Like they just rule like this is how it should be done. Like it's a president.
World, and there are legitimate companies like ours that we do amazing training. I'm living proof that you can be successful starting in those 3-day trainings. Now, granted, I did 3-day trainings with multiple artists and practitioners around the country before I met Marvin, and then Marvin and I cemented a relationship, and it was like, this is my ride or die, right? This is it. So, but yeah, there is a group of thinkers out there that think they're like they're like this elitist group of SMP. They're like this elitist SMP artists that kind of shit on what we do and what everybody else is doing. And there are some weasels out there, and there are some unscrupulous, but like we are not those guys, and we work really hard to give amazing natural results, to not deliver real results to people, to make sure that when we do train others. And again, I'm a newer practitioner, and I just became a trainer for the fundamentals. I don't even train on the advanced side. Marvin's always present for all of my trainings because he's been around, for decade plus. But they just think that it's like these people never made a business for themselves, and they don't know the business side of like we do. They're not entrepreneurs. They're artists. They're not entrepreneurs. And because I'm going to be honest, because we make a significant amount of money doing this, right? And it's the result of helping people, right? It's not money. It's we help people, and we do the right thing every time. We give more than we take, and the byproduct of that is we make a fair living. We make a very, very fair living.
Most big companies make a lot, are crazy successful because they help some people in general.
I've always done. I was a fireman and a paramedic for 10 years before I was a barber. Yeah. I got into barbering to help people. That's still my my goal is to take care of people. And so SMP, I know the transformative power because I went through it. I am the recipient of this. Head was done by Marvin Furrow right here. I know what that's like. I also know what it's like to go to somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing and charge me $3,000, and it went away in 30 days. And if that guy's watching, you know who you are, right? Those guys are scumbags. Those guys are true scumbags because there are people taking advantage of people out there, but it's not all of us. But we do have a group of elitists that are kind of that we like. That
we feel like I know marketing's way different, but we feel very similar to that, where there is a right way to do marketing. Mm-hmm. Like there's a tried and true way to do marketing that changes every fucking 2 months, but you keep up with it. Yeah. And there's good practices, there's the right way to do it, and there's a strategy. But we hear all these stories from people who hire people and it just blows up in their face. Or like, I mean, the other day I was looking into something where they deleted the client's access to the Facebook page. We have access, they gave us access, but they deleted the client's access, but they removed our access to add him back. So now it's our fault. So they're sabotaging us because they chose us over someone else.
Wow.
And that's just one more story in the hundreds of stories of marketing companies that don't do it right. But the ones that do it right it's amazing. Mm-hmm.
We used a different marketing company initially, and we had some, this person had provided some amazing results in the beginning and had a long-standing history, and then different, life events took place, and we just, it just wasn't really a good fit for us. Is probably the best way to say that. And so that's why we interviewed you guys. We interviewed somebody else who we figured out very quickly just from email conversations. We're like, well, we're not going to do business with you. Like you're, I don't know what this like car sales. I'm like, we're very. You guys already know we're responsive. We communicate. And if you're trying to press me into a corner because I haven't signed something, it's because I don't have answers and I'm not ready, and I don't. And I tell you, this is what I'm waiting for, and here's where we're at. And we don't have any trouble with that, but it's difficult. Those people we find those too, and
it's just so hard when you're in a business that you're passionate about to see people who prop themselves up as professionals not doing best practices.
Sure.
Especially back then too, you were just sent fake scalps.
Yeah,
like that's
skins.
Crazy.
Just skins, 4x6 skins like that.
They didn't have like AI back then to like scan the picture.
We had nothing.
Like, to know where the blend, like where you need to.
They didn't even tell me how to siphon ink. That's what the objective of what we do is, essentially, like a tattoo.
So then you opened SMP Inc. and just started doing heads immediately. No?
I wish. I wish it was that simple. I just never thought. I knew it was gold. I was like, this is going to be solid, but like. My luck throughout my life, I'm like, something's going to happen. Someone's going to poke holes in this thing and it's just going to go away. I'm not quitting my gig, right? Like I'll be a side thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I needed to practice. So I'm not going to charge people because I didn't feel good, So I was like, looked at my bar back behind me. I was like, dude, you're bald. Let me do your head. I'll do it for free. Like, you see this? This is good. And he was like, all right, okay, let's do it. I'm like, all right. So I did his head. And as he's walking around, it looked good, and he's walking around bar backing or whatever. Someone would come in. I'm like, dude, look at his head. That's great, right? Let me do your head. I'll do it. I'll do it for free. And they're like, okay. So I did his head, 10 heads go by. I'm getting pretty good at this stuff, right? I was like, let me open one in my house. I'm going to put one in my room. So I decided to put one in the room and was doing some heads out of there. And then one day I got a break. Andy Vargas, lead singer of Santana, who was a residency at the Mandalay Bay where I was at, comes walking in and he had some black stuff dripping down his head. And I go, like Mayor Mayor Giuliani.
Yeah, when he just starts melting.
Yeah, I was like, oh boy. But understandably so for him, he just got done performing on a hot stage, right? So he comes in to get a drink, and I'm like, bro, let me fix that for you. Like, what do you mean? I was like, well, there's stuff called SMP. So right now, if you ask 100 people what SMP is, I'd say about 20, 30 might know what it is. Like the majority still don't know what it is. So imagine, 11 years ago.
It would be a lot less here.
Yeah, a lot less here, yeah.
A lot less here. It's in every major city. Bringing SMP to Coeur d'Alene has been like discovering fire.
You'll just have them.
And people are gathering around the warmth of this, like, oh my God.
You'll have Gen Z, what? A simp? A simp?
Small pink. Quick funny joke about small pink. So it's SMP Inc., right? When I first got it in Vegas, I was like, dude, I'm going to put this on my license plate. So it just mashed together in one word. And then people were coming up behind me. It was like, what's small pink? I'm like, God damn it. Like, small pink? Like, seriously? Anyhow, Vargas comes in. I do his head. And he's like, this is gold. This is awesome. And, of course, Santana, lead singer.
You did that one for free too, huh?
Of course. Yeah. So
you don't charge
the celeb too.
Yeah, I won't charge them. And then, of course, Santana himself. And then he eventually tells another celebrity who reaches out to me, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you did these guys' heads," and he was one of the guys from Black Eyed Peas, and he was just like, "Come to L.A. and do it. And if you could do my head," I was like, "Absolutely." So I cruised to L.A. 3 separate times to do this guy's head because this is a 3-step process at SMP. And made a little quick video, and that kind of did pretty well, So people were like, okay, this thing's kind of real. This guy does it. And then, I hooked up with a guy. We opened a company called Full Micropigmentation, and I was the artist. He was a businessman. And I started, rocking and rolling. We were just getting heads left and right. And I mean, even at the time, we were charging $7,500 a head because no one else was doing it. It's like, well, why not? Like it's like it's almost a monopoly at the time. You charge whatever you want to do, right? So we're rocking and rolling, and then over time, it's like, let's bring it down, because I started noticing over time, if I interviewed or did a consult with 10 different people, 2 might book, right? Because it's too expensive. Like, who could afford $7,500? It's still a lot. So let's drop it to 35. We drop it 3,500. We could help more people, and that's what it's really all about. Like David was mentioning earlier, it's like who you could help. So I'm completely down to do that, you know. And I noticed some funny things started changing. I'm like, you know, and one day this guy comes in my office, and he's just like, yo, can you fix my head? I got a scar. I'm bald, dude. You got to do something, dude. I'm young. I'm going through all this shit. I lost my hair at 18. I'm having grown man thoughts and shit. You know, like at 18 when people start dealing with this stuff. He's like, he's like, what the hell? So, and his name is Tyler Bennett. And so
it does sound like him though.
Yeah.
Grown man
Oh yeah, 100%. You'll catch a lot of that. So I end up doing his head and changed his life. And he comes back, you know, a couple of weeks later. He's like, bro, I want to do this. You know, I went to UNLV. I understand marketing. Blah blah. Let me do it. So we brought him on, and we started just cruising. I like loved it. Everything was working. We were clicking a lot better, you know, than what I was doing before. So you know, found out some things, and I was like, okay. Let's move on. We're gonna create something else, and I wanted to call it SMP Inc. because SMP I wanted to put in the domain name. Like so, when you Google SMP, fucking we come up right away. Like I thought it was a good move because at the time no one was doing it, so we better do it before it gets big, right? So now you get all these other people trying to like switch the name around, switch it up, try to put it in there, but they'll never be able to do it. But anyhow, we decided to open a company, left in the middle of the night, literally grabbed our stuff, just like the Baltimore Colts. They just packed up their stuff in the middle of the night and moved, right? So same way we had the Mayflower outside, we're ready to go, right? Like, so we got everything, you know, we just found an office. We was working out of a little solo salon for like 6 months, little janky little room, you know what I mean? And we had clients and we started rocking and rolling. Long story short, then we opened this big office, it was a standalone, and started doing some marketing. And then it really started to crush. And that's when you got celebrities under your belt. You've been doing it for a long time. I already had all these YouTube videos. So people are like, bro, I seen you do with the hair, the guy with the hair. I was on the news a couple times, so people saw that. So it was cool being a pioneer down south, you know, for that particular area.
Yeah.
Like David mentioned earlier, there wasn't hardly anybody doing it. So being part of that to where it is now and having all these locations and expanding and scaling the company and finding more people, because I can't do it by myself. There's so many things that if you're a real entrepreneur, like if you follow the people like, you know, Jobs and all these things, they said, you know, the best thing you do when you hire people is you don't tell them what to do. You let them tell you what you need to do. You know what I mean? Like, I would never tell you guys how to market, right? Like, you tell me what works. Like, that's why we hired you, right? Like, David's great at like products and putting things together, being a management operator. Like he understands company because that's what he did. So who am I going to tell him, you know, I have a vision, but he could make it come alive, right? You know, like Tyler does what he does down on his end. So now we have so many people in place to push the company from, you know, forward even more, and that's what we're trying to do. And I think we're pretty successful at it. We're getting pretty good. Like, but I don't ever sit back and pat ourselves in the back. So look how far you came along. Like, I only look forward. Like, you know, like,
well, you have to get hungry.
No,
I mean, Josh and I are just like ecstatic to be part of the journey for SMP Inc. USA. And you know, ever since I met with David, like, he was cutting my hair, and there's something to be said about, especially entrepreneurship, being hungry, like being just ravenous for
you gotta be
success.
crazy.
You have to sit there and be like, this is good, but you know, like just want it. And I mean, David and I, we had an arrangement for video stuff for haircuts, and I'm just like, you do know we do all these things. We're the real deal, man. You know, because like as soon as I heard about SMP Inc. and everything David's going on with the 2 locations after he's been a barber for what, 4 months.
I got out of school and 4 months later I opened Lake City Deluxe. And
like,
we are the most highly
who trains as a barber and then opens their own store in 4 months and then opens a second location right away. Like that's just like
their thing.
Like the second I heard about you and your ambition, I was like, dude, like I want to work with this guy.
Oh, thanks, man.
And then everything he said, if this guy says what he says about you, like, okay, like,
yeah, we riff off each other for sure. I know I help Marvin, and Marvin certainly helps me, and it's been a very symbiotic relationship. There are times where it's like we just need like to duplicate us, and that's
Yeah.
very difficult to do. It's
Well,
very difficult to
In
do.
every industry, you meet so many people that just let you down. That when you meet somebody that actually like clicks, somebody that is like pure and actually like works hard
Yeah.
and has good goals,
Yeah.
like it's just like yes,
Yeah, it's
the
crazy.
excitement is serious.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, I knew it right away. The guy comes in, calls me. First calls me on the phone. Obviously, he's in Idaho. I'm in Scottsdale, and he's just asked me questions about training, like anybody else would. Now, keep in mind, I've trained thousands of people, like literally thousands of people, and I answer the phone because that's what I do. I'll still answer the phone to this day. Like it doesn't matter. This is what we do. So
Hear that, telemarketers?
Yeah.
He answers.
Yeah, you have to, right? So David called me. We talked for an hour and a half, like straight hour and a half of just talking and talking. I was like, this guy's really smart. He's very well, versed in how he speaks, and he's very confident, and I love that. He goes, I'm gonna come down, and he was transparent. It's between you and somebody else, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Well, let me know. Here I am. Here's my number, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, he called me like a week later, coming down. Here's my ticket. I'll see you in a few. Cool. Comes down. He starts to train. He walks in the office. He's like, bro, this is it. Like he just stopped and looked around and just paused and was like, you got scrubs on. The place is immaculate. It's super clean. This is exactly what I envisioned. And I was like, yeah, I couldn't have it any other way. He goes, I own these barbershops, and slowly started telling me about it. And he's like, dude, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take over this industry. And I hear it all the time, but who actually does it, right? It's easy to talk, right? Until you have to go to work, right? Everybody's ambitious till they have to get up at 4 a.m, right? But everything he said, he just kept doing, and he was calling. And I was like, listen, this guy's different. You just know when somebody's different, period. It's like, okay, he reminds me a lot of me. He reminds me a lot of Tyler, like dead on. Like this could be good. And I'm thinking back, I'm like, there's nobody up in that area, in that whole Northwest, that I even remotely would like to hand this off to. So like I said, instead of like buying us a franchise, whatever, why don't you just be a part of us? Like let's just join it, and you just run that division, help us run whole S&P as a whole, and let's just get this thing moving forward.
Be a guy that we can call on to help us,
because it's hard. You can't do
grow.
it by yourself. You have your life. You have you're running your business. You're doing production. You're still trying to push the industry forward. How could I just do that and still try to do production and do a bunch of other things? How can I focus on big picture if small things aren't getting done?
Well, it's recognizing the strengths of others, and the weaknesses in yourself.
100%.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's so funny because the way you describe like David calling you and you two like visiting for an hour and a half, the exact same thing happened with us. Like exact. He was looking for a video editor. Mm-hmm. I was a video guy, and then I was like, I gave him a call.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about like the problem with marketing, and like we were ranting and raving together and just like talking. And then like an hour and a half passed, and I'm like, well, we should meet sometime. And then he is like, yeah, well, here's some projects, and I started editing for him.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, dude, but hey, can you do these?
Yeah.
He's like,
So I started editing for. Don't talk on. What are you doing?
Yeah, it was really funny because when I opened up my marketing company, it was a side hustle in the beginning. Mm-hmm. I've been doing it since I was in high school, and eventually when I moved here, I was like, okay, I'm full time. I have to do everything. So I edited my own videos, shot my own films, my ads, everything like that. But then what I really loved was the nerd analytics stuff, trends, beating outs. It's very competitive for me.
Whoa.
Did you have something to say, Marvin?
No, absolutely not.
He was supposed to open up with a poem about his feelings. Do you still want to do that?
That was the gong.
The doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm not in your guys' ecosphere. So
You can't hear it.
I can't hear that.
It's funny.
I can't hear the gong, man.
Once again.
Well, leave a comment and subscribe if you heard the boom.
But so I like doing that. What I really loved was using that asset, and then like having somebody that wasn't my client, knowing their advertising and trying to be better than them, and have my client be like, oh yeah, we got tons of leads. Like every lead that I give somebody, I've successfully beat out their marketing, and it was like a competition, and it still is. It's just that's what I really love. and so I started hiring. I listened to a podcast that told me I need to hire somebody I need to start hiring people to do things I don't want to do, and I was like, I'm inspired. I'm gonna hire a videographer.
Delegate.
And so I hired freelancers, and they were like 17 years old, 16, 17 on average. And I had consistent work, because like in the beginning, early on I learned doing the one-off projects. I was always like, shit, like this is like, I need something super consistent. So I tried to figure that out, and eventually I got like reoccurring clients for ads management, stuff like that. And, but then I had video projects that I needed for that. Like every client I needed like an ad video, and like, so it was consistent. And so I was like, hey guys, like I charge less for the videos because they're already paying me X amount, a bunch of money for other things on retainer. So I give them a discount, but it's consistent. I have a lot of projects that you can do, and it'll give you a good amount of money. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no problem. After the first month or so, they're like, oh, I gotta charge more. Brother, you're 17, dude. You just came back from high school and just decided you'd call me and tell me you need more money?
Well, if I want to scale, I can't just spend an entire month only making the same.
Yeah, I'm like,
they listen to the same podcast Josh heard.
I need to hire a filmer so I can keep editing for you.
Personal assistant.
These 17-year-olds just starting out too.
I kept having to get these new freelancers and then getting my vision of what I wanted, and it's not as common out here. Still to this day, it's not as common. Of like, the videos that I want are very specific for advertising. Most of the videos that you see being created here are cinematic, visually appealing, but they're not there to sell. And so the stuff I need, it's very specific. You need to do this and this and this in the first, whatever seconds, and I need it to be extended out to 60 seconds only. Like
best practices.
And they're like, okay, well, shit, And so I had to keep firing them and getting new ones. And so I eventually was like, I hit him up because I looked up video production companies. He came up. I looked at his website. I just hit him up on Facebook, and then we just started talking. But we got on the phone, and he was just like, "Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah." I was like, and I told him about the consistent work thing, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no." He's like, "Yeah, we're all talking shit, about everybody." Like, I'm like, "Yeah, like, those guys don't understand." So I was like, "Well, I got like a few projects you want to do." And it just went off from there, man. Like, I started
and then he gives me a 45-minute fishing show with a microphone that didn't work
from Bassmaster.
Here, to take this first edit.
And then here's like,
what the hell?
3 terabytes of footage to go through.
No.
Yeah, no. So, and that brings me to the question. Actually, it's really interesting. So,
sure.
So when I see, all 3 of you, it's the partners. Mm-hmm. So we got David, Marvin, and Tyler. So you're all different. Mm-hmm. You're all very. Tyler's really funny. Me and him get along.
Charismatic dude.
Really, I love doing meetings when he's his jokes are hilarious.
Okay. My Tyler story is once that I told him thank you, and he texted back welcome.
Welcome, like
so then I took that as a personal challenge, and I found a meme where it's just like a whale and their kid like going along, and it's just like, oh, why don't I have a dad? You are welcome.
Did he see this?
I texted it to him. Yeah.
Well, I have a brief Tyler story as well.
Oh, Tyler stories.
My nickname.
We're gonna segment this and send it directly to you, Tyler.
So, in the manner which I was brought on, again, Marvin's a visionary, and Marvin I would describe as gas. I would describe Tyler as brakes. In all fairness, he's very logical. He's very much like these things have to line up. You need balance, and they balance each other this way. Mm-hmm. It's not a negative. It's not you need brakes. You need gas.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll talk about this later.
And so Marvin and I met, and Marvin's like, I got to have you with me. I'm like, yeah, sounds great. I'm down. Like, let's do this thing. So we started working together and putting together projects, but it was done somewhat of in a clandestine manner at first because it was like, hey, I want to bring some proof with me that you're
Yeah, we just can't just bring them on.
Because all of a sudden, because these guys have been burned. They brought on people who have absolutely fucked them.
Right.
And so I think there was some hesitance to like be like, oh God, I'm rolling dice, but this is entrepreneurship is we take risks, right? Acceptable risks. We take reasonable risks. Sometimes we fail, and that's the name of the game. You aren't going to get aces and eights on every hand, so we take acceptable risks and we roll the dice, and sometimes we make money, and sometimes we lose it, and sometimes you know what I mean? Sometimes you still shit, and other times it's like raining gold, and you're like, yay. But anyway, so Marvin brought me on in a mildly clandestine manner where we didn't really talk a lot about much other than like I just started moving some projects forward and he was seeing the progress, he's loving it. Well, it got to a point where it was time to
let Tyler know.
And so on the day, so he scheduled a meeting, like a Zoom meeting or FaceTime meeting, I can't remember.
Yeah.
So on that particular day I had a back piece of
was Tyler working out during that meeting?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
He wasn't working out during that meeting. What he was doing is, this was already like, he had heard I was kind of hanging around. He had seen my name, SMB CDA. I even got a message from one time. I was like, hey, buddy, you can't use SMB. That's a trademark name. I was like, well, hey,
You kept David a secret, Marvin?
Yeah, I was like a mistress.
Not really.
I was like a mistress.
A little bit, yeah. But I mean,
we're out in the open now. It's okay. We're a throuple.
You guys can hold hands in public now.
yeah. We can take pictures together.
So on the day, anyway, he'd heard rumblings, and it was just time to like let the cat out of the bag and to talk about the progress we had made and the things we're doing, and just we like to operate above board, right? Nobody likes doing all this, but I understand why Marvin did this way. I mean, it made sense, and I back whatever he says. I just back the play, period. And so I was like, sure, man, I'm happy to I'm happy to introduce myself. I've got nothing to hide. I'm more than capable of doing what I say I'm doing. I've already shown, this, and this. Yeah. So on this particular day, we have a meeting, and I had
didn't eat.
Well, I didn't eat. I had sat in a tattoo chair for 6 hours. I had one beer for lunch because that's all they had in the tattoo shop. Yeah, and so I had my back scratched for 6 hours almost straight. Nothing to eat. I had a beer because that's all they had in the shop. And then I got in my car and I met Tyler while my back's on fire under duress, because I know this guy's already irritated with me. He doesn't even know me. He's mad at me. And
He's cheating on me.
Yeah. And so we get the great and powerful, Tyler Bennett on the phone, and he immediately lays into me, and he's just kind of, he's doing all this pullback stuff. Well, what about this and what about that? And he gave me the nickname Boner Killer. He said I'm a boner killer, and I was just like it hurts right here.
Right to the core.
I knew he would, but I knew in him saying that, he's very witty, and he's just fucking quick, and you can just tell, and he really cares about what's happening. And the reality was I just kept, for lack of a better term, just eating these dicks he was throwing at me. I did. I was like, it was like a car wash of dicks. Like, blah, 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 blah. I'm running through this gauntlet of dicks.
He earned this position, guys.
Well, and sometimes.
So I go through the gauntlet of dicks with time. And Marvin's right there doing his best not to say a fucking word because he was trying to play me a little bit against Marvin, and he was purposely doing it. And Marvin's like biting his tongue. I can feel it. Super uncomfortable. Now I'm boner killer. And in the end, I think he just understood, I'm not a joke. I am for real.
But this is how it ended. So they hung up. Tyler called me right away. He said, I like this guy. This guy's cool.
Yeah. As soon as we hung up. And after the boner killer thing, as things calmed down and things kind of came back to okay, this is, we see there's some, his last thing, he's like, okay. He's like, what did he say? Favorite movie?
Oh, what top 2 favorite movies?
Yeah, what are your top 2 favorite movies?
What the fuck? Out of all the questions.
There was something else, but I was like, and I named it, and he was like, and he bounced off some quotes right off it. We went back and forth, and it was like, do we just become best friends?
Yeah, you just
did. You karate in the garage?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
But it was like, I I got off the phone. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so hungry and this is painful and everything is, this just sucks, man. I bruised from these dicks. And it was just like.
And the rest was history.
Yeah.
And it just worked.
And now Tyler's like, I there've been a couple of times I'm like, hey, I haven't seen this thing. I can't get hold of this guy. He's super busy. But I'll call Tyler, man. It's like, I met with him in Vegas and had dinner with him and his wife. And like, man, I got nothing but love and respect for the guy. And if he needs,
and this guy's been crushing it, doing everything for us, making us all, making the company a good amount of money, and then pushing us forward. Now he's no longer a boner killer. He's Viagra.
Boner maker. The boner maker.
He's Cialis.
Well, that's what. So the riff off that question was your balance of partners. So your partnership is visually and literally well balanced. Where if somebody knows all three of you, it's actually like really entertaining to see, because me and you are like,
it is
people say the same thing about Travis and I.
We're yin and yang.
Yin and yang is what they say, because I'm a very loud, eccentric, but then I'll just sit there silently and not talk, and then not care.
Yeah.
Like I don't care what people think about. But Travis is like super calm and like reasonable, and like somebody pisses me off, I'll just tell him, and he's like, no, well, let's not do that, like let's go with a different approach, because I'm like, I didn't think about that, my bad, it evens out, right? And then I see all three of you, and I'm like, Tyler's just, in that meeting when I went through first to meet you two, and then I've already met David. I was like, when Tyler first made a joke, I forgot what he made, but I just was busting up.
I saw. I
was like, that's awesome. Okay, so now I'm not like super nervous, because I was like, this is the first time meeting everybody. And
Well, and it was really funny too, because first David didn't believe in us, and I had to build the website and show you.
Well,
no, there was some competition. It's okay. Yeah. But then I showed you, like, no, seriously, like we can do this.
You went the extra mile to show. Like, I was like, hey man, it's you and someone else, and like you took it upon yourself to go an extra mile and show. You're like, I really want to work with you. Which, by the way, was amazing, right? Like, they took an amazing. You put a lot of your own time, which equates to money, into building a website to show this is just a taste of what I can do. And I was like, well, this is just fucking, like, way better than anything else that we've seen. Like the website we did have, what was before that, were like, these were, these people would have to climb a ladder to kiss the.
Even better than the original website that was built.
Well, I knew that.
It was, and so
I already knew that.
You did that on your own.
Not to brag or anything, but but the point I'm saying though is, like, we had that with you, and you loved me, but that's okay, because then like we went to Marvin. And we had the exact same hurdle where he's like, well, I don't know, guys, whatever. and then Josh starts like going through the analytics of the backlinks to his current website. And like, there's a point in the meeting where we're talking to Marvin, and then he's like,
Marvin's attention went like, hold on.
Marvin's like, how quick can you complete a website, and how quickly can you start fixing this problem? Like, he shifted gears immediately.
In the time and how much I've learned about websites by dealing with so many websites, like designers, and I'm like, I felt like I could open my own marketing company. Like, I learned so much about it, because you have to. You can't just be naive to think that they're doing the right thing.
Well, it's like opening a business or starting a website, and then just like, oh, it's there.
It's there.
People are going to find it and click on it.
You must make money, right? So
it's like,
I'm the type of guy, though, I need to understand why things don't work. Like, so after I keep going process of elimination through it all, you said something. That's the one thing that I just didn't know, and I was like, that's it. That's exactly why we're not ranking, or in this particular region, or why we're getting so many bot things. It's like, that's it. Whatever that is, that's the answer I've been looking for like fucking 3 months right now. Like, please, how fast can you build a website? Cool. You just won. Like, please take over.
Well, and David said, like, these guys will build one. Like, I promise you. Like, they will recognize what I've seen in you when they talk to you, right? So fast forward, we talked to Tyler, and then he's just like, oh, I'm happy with it, but if you guys could just do some, if you guys could
he wants you to go in there and
you just could go in there and fix it or whatever, and like Josh goes in to fix it, but it's so outdated, none of the plugins have been updated. It starts to actively crash as he's trying to update his website.
But not to cut you off, but what you guys do well is your analogies. to make it make sense. You know, because
I agree.
we don't. I'm not that techie to where I understand like the ins and outs of why things work like that way. But when you say, well, imagine having an iPhone 5 and you try to work on an iPhone 15 Plus Max now with the new software, that 5 isn't going to work no more. Oh, well, that's why it doesn't fucking work, right? Oh, cool. That's all I need to know. Give me an analogy, right?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it was. Yeah. I was doing all the due diligence. I was being very careful too.
No, and he was going to fix it. He was going to fix the original website and then
so glad.
update
I'm
it
so
and everything
glad.
else. And then Tyler's just like, fuck. Just
fucking do it.
Just make me what you're making for Marvin.
Well,
Yeah.
once I
And
had
for-
it, and then he saw it, and then everybody, and then it's like, well, wait a second, like nobody wants to be left behind.
Yeah. Well, what I appreciate is the resistance, right? And then us just like, and this
Powering through
isn't even a humble brag, but it's like we've all been screwed over so many times that we don't want to take that risk on just like what somebody else says is a good idea. We want to know it for ourselves. And like we had that with David, we had that with you, we had that with Tyler, and it's like, no,
Yeah, and
we're
now
the
you had it
real
with
deal.
Waylon in Tennessee.
No, we had it with Waylon. Waylon's like, oh yeah, I have my own website, and then we're like,
Yeah, you're sucks.
no,
Yeah.
listen, no, I have a vision. And this has been my pet project, like what we're working on now, like the future of what it could be, like my vision for it. And this is so new for me, and I'm so excited about it. And I mean, David knows. Like, I had a vision for Lake City Deluxe's website. We launched that last week. That is the coolest website for a barbershop in this country.
100%.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
It's way
Yeah.
better than I
sick.
was like, because I was like, whatever.
I can't believe all the videos that cruise on that thing on
And
a
it's so
mobile device,
fast.
and it's
Yeah.
that fast. I'm like, how do
Yeah.
you get so many videos on that?
And the
'Cause-
fact that the mobile
Yeah.
website is a menu, like it's an
Yeah.
app,
yeah,
the desktop isn't.
yeah,
Like it has,
pretty gangster.
Yeah.
it's 4 websites within one and an app.
Yeah.
And plus, I was carrying around a bunch of toxic backlinks. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
all right, fix the
And
problem.
then
Here's
Josh
what I
over
need.
the weekend cleared all those out.
Did he?
Next month it'll be clean.
And I understand
Dude,
all
tons.
keywords have been optimized. I don't have to worry about is
Yeah.
it done or are we at a percentage done?
Yeah, it'll take like about a month for it all to clear up.
Yeah.
It's because you got to submit them to Google. You know, so like toxic backlink. You experienced. I mean, even your website had a bunch of them, man.
Well,
You had to submit them to Google.
Yeah, we know how that happened.
You know, and when you submit it to Google, it's like, dude, Google is
Yeah.
the slowest
Oh, sure.
company
Yeah.
ever. Even their AI, dude. In terms of that, like their Google My Business AI, it sucks. This is Search Console. This is even slower.
We still love you, Google. I'm just saying
I mean,
that
Google,
maybe there's room
you're the
for
only reason I
improvement.
have a business. So. But yeah, dude, it's basically going in there and copy, paste, submit, and then it asks you a shit ton of questions, and then it's like, there's one. I got 200 more. And then you keep the tabs on the ones that are accepted, not. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun process.
I can't do that. I'd rather be on. I'd rather be on fire.
No, that's why he's the analytics guy. We let him just deal with the monotonous flow of numbers and words, and then we get to be creatives.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
there you
but and I guess here's the question. In your guys' perspective, because you guys vibe really well and you're very successful together, but is there hurdles to go with like different personalities? Like when you, like there's hurdles that Travis and I go through, but like we're both in the same realm of like we don't take things personally. We just get through shit. If Travis has a gripe with me, I'll accept it and then learn from it. Like, but like with 3 with different personalities, how is
As
it?
the new guy, and then you can just say.
I'll say what I-
Cool. Yeah. So here as the new guy. So that you know, again, remember my role is like, you really say it's like the 3 of us, but really Tyler and Marvin are that's the founder and like the co-founders. How they, those are the 2 guys that really are. When we travel across the country, those guys are recognized. I'm just now starting to be recognized as like, oh, he's always with those guys, and no, they're at
He
PMU
is
again,
part
and he's
of
there,
it, yeah.
and this guy, he's like zero ego, but he's always like, yeah, you're us, we're the thing, and but those guys really are they are like they were the head of this thing. As far as like personality differences, as entrepreneurs, we don't waste any time with bullshit. So I think we both give more than we take at every opportunity. We never make anything about money or like whatever, and we just fucking roll with the punches because there is no time for like conflict, feelings being hurt. Otherwise, like at the end of the day, we have expectations that results are going to be delivered on my end and on his end. And if shit needs to get done, and if sometimes I might be like, hey man, I really need this done, or he might be like, hey, I really want you to do blah blah blah, and it might, you know, we might have to remind you, but we don't fucking drop the ball, and that's all there is to it. We just don't. So I don't care about personality stuff. Like we get along great, we can hang out, we can drink, we can work all day, we can make a bunch of money together, like, but we just don't waste time in the mire. We just fucking don't. And other than the conflict with Tyler in the beginning, which was fine, he was just protecting his house, he was drawing, guys protecting his perimeter. I don't blame him for that. And there's no like we just don't go back, right? Like problem solved, move the fuck on, because like speed is the name of the game. Like we are where we're headed. We want other companies to have to chase us, right? Like we are the traffic moving. You remember that post I put up today about like being the traffic? That is what we are. We're the ones fucking driving. We're not being driven. Our industry isn't telling us what the fuck to do. These elitist artists that think, like, oh, they want to be these like snob elitists. We don't give a shit. We don't give a fuck what you think, and we don't give a fuck about what we're doing. Is focusing on Marvin's vision as the place that we're going, and we're making collective efforts to see to it that vision comes to life, and there will be nothing that stops that. That is a ride or die statement. I'll die on that hill. So no, we don't waste any time with personality conflict. If there was truly some conflict, I think it would be resolved within moments, because we're not going to waste time on non-revenue generating activities that are just bullshit. Like if there was something really big, it'd have to be like, a character or a moral value that was like being bent or broken, where it'd be like, hey, you can't fucking, you can't steal from the buy. So I don't know what it is.
I feel like in business, like the different types of personalities.
Tyler's calling.
Oh, here, turn it on speakerphone and hold up to your mic.
Darn, this would be a perfect opportunity to test out this. Plugging it into this.
How you doing?
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, you're live on this podcast, and
my bad.
No. Here's the dope. Here's the dope thing. You're on the microphone, and it's like recording, and everybody's hearing you. But here's the funny part about this, bro. We're all drinking, but we've been discussing you for literally 20 minutes, man. And it's been fucking comical. And of course you fucking call, right? So we all have our stories about you, how funny you are.
It's taking every ounce of me not to say some terrible shit.
You're already too late.
We're too late, man. It's all aired, and it's going to be coming out soon, bro. But
I describe meeting you as going through a gauntlet of dicks, like a car wash of dicks. And my nickname was Boner Killer. So everybody knows what's fucking going on here, bro.
It is so dope. But yeah, what's happening, man?
Oh, wait. I mean, am I still on?
Oh yeah, you're totally still on. Is it good, or should I call you back?
We're here too, Tyler.
I was just gonna see if that cream helped out at all.
Yeah, they're gone. I got rid of them crabs. Jesus, thanks.
Oh shit.
My bad.
My bad.
You guys have fun. Oh, I'm so bummed I'm not there.
I know. So are we.
This summer.
Next time, man. Next time.
This summer.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope, bro. But I'll hit you back. Should I be worried?
Well, make sure. No.
Okay, good.
I was gonna see if you wanted to go Saturday as well as Sunday.
Where? Oof, God, no. Jesus. No. Yeah, just Sunday.
We can wonder together what they're talking
All right,
about.
just make sure you guys end this podcast and compare not just length but girth as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, my name is Girth Brooks. For
The ratings are gonna go.
And I'm Johnny Depp.
All right, bro. We'll talk to you soon. Everyone say goodbye to Tyler.
Bye, Tyler.
Later. Oh, shit.
That's so funny.
That's funny. And of course, he called when it's 9/11.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's good, man. No, it's just interesting.
But
I was thinking about that like the other day. I was like, man, they just mesh so well together. But man,
He might have
you
a
can
different
describe
answer.
them.
That was just my take on it.
Yeah, that was a really good question.
It is a phenomenal question.
Mine's a two-part answer. So two things I look at when it comes to our personalities. You know, Dave he's like very vocal. Like, this is what we need to do. We're on it. He's to the point.
He's so
he doesn't
quiet,
bullshit around. Like, he's like, this is what we need to
I don't
do.
give a fuck.
I mean, the first thing you did coming in here was like, dude, you need to come in and get a haircut, bro. Like, that's not even like, hey man, dude,
Josh, I love you, but you look like my left
He's
testicle.
like, and then it started the whole intro because of that. Dude.
All right. Back to you
It's
can
all
see
good, it's all good.
you and I are aligned,
Yeah,
and then you two are aligned right now.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Like, what did you
I
have to
see
say?
where this is going, but
Sorry, brother.
it's all good. It's all good. But, David, he's really forward. You all know Tyler's a jokester. He's good. But, he gets to work. The bottom line is all three of us, we work extremely hard, or else we wouldn't be in this position. Yeah. And we have different personalities, which help. Like, Tyler could work with certain people that I would never get along with, but I'm glad he did, because he has that personality to work along with them.
That's a good, yeah.
And vice versa for me. Like, if they want someone a little bit more aggressive, or to the point, if they're bullshitting around, we stick David on them. Like so, it's like we have the right people in place, and I'm pretty passive, right? Until I have to be, a dick, and I don't want to do that. So Dave, get him.
Dude,
and Tyler's got the same way.
We use the same dynamic,
Right? But it truly works that way. But the bottom line is this: we all work hard. So me knowing that, it now comes down to personalities, to character. So if a debate comes up, if something we don't agree upon comes up, I'm gonna genuinely listen to what they have to say first.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's it. Like, they're the same way. Like, okay, let me hear your point and tell me why, and then I'll tell you my point and I'll tell you why, and then we're rational enough to go, yeah, that does make sense. All right, let's do that. Like, you don't have to get in an argument because your mind isn't fixated on only what you want to hear. You don't have blinders on to only, right? You're totally multi-dimensional. But now it really comes down to my main point.
Yeah.
But that really has to do. But my main point is this: these guys, if they did something wrong in my eyes or whatever, my first question I'm going to ask: did they do that on purpose to screw us up? No, they wouldn't do that on purpose. So I can't get mad at if somebody's just trying to do something because they thought it was for the betterment of the company. They're not doing it just for self-gain or anything like that, or like on the low, be quiet or do something shady.
That's a great.
They're just really trying to win. So
that's great.
I don't get mad at it. I'm like, okay, I understand why you probably did that, but let's look at it this way. And they're like, okay, cool. So that's all you got. If you have that mindset, you're straight. That's that's all. That's how I look at things.
Yeah,
we don't focus on problems as much as we do solutions. I think any jackass can identify problems. You can pay low wage people to identify problems.
Well, and the cool thing that I've realized, right, like in our partnership, is there are negatives to certain personalities, right? Like for me, I used to be a complete pushover. Like I could not talk to a client that would be aggressive with me or try to get shit from me or try to treat me like shit. And then I'd just be like, ooh, whatever.
Okay.
That was years ago, right? But then I'd sick Josh on him, right? Until like I started to lose some weight, I started to get some confidence, I started to like really just double down on the way I wanted to be. And now I can actually like handle it, but also there's still a value to the way that Josh deals with people sometimes.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Because he'll go in, but he's a blunt instrument, right? Well, while like he'll be writing the email, and I'll be like, no, that person goes by this name, or no, I think you should rephrase this because this is what you're trying to say right now. And that's like the difference between the personalities, where like he's completely logical. Yeah. But it like together we make like a really powerful team. Yeah. Right? Which is why it's so cool to hear like the origin story of S&P Inc. like CDA with David and with Tyler and with you, Marvin. Like we've lived it as well. It's like the value of the skill set of like those personalities of what they can achieve.
It's crazy.
It's fantastic, especially if you are all agreeing to work your asses off.
I think it comes down to
pursue a
that
goal.
too, huh?
Yeah, but because
What if
like
you had a partner that
any of those
right?
personalities could be a negative if the person's lazy and doesn't care.
Yeah.
But if they care and they're passionate,
Because
driven,
100%. Because all three of us are positive, and in the end, it's in different aspects, but we're all positive. Because if you have one negative, two positive and one negative is still a negative, right? So we all better be positive, right?
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of came.
Yeah,
up
that
with
makes sense too.
That's
Because
It's good, and we really are solutions based. I think every one of us is always looking at, not the problem, because the problems again are very easy to identify. It's like what's the solution? And there have been times I actually have disagreed where I've brought things to Marvin like, hey, is the guy leading the projects for this company, is that really in line with your vision? You want to take somebody else's I've called him out. You want to take somebody else's product and you want to promote that for another SMB company. How does that make us the household name for? And he's like, well, we're going to do this for that. And I'll get some rationale back, or he'll think about it. But, and it's the same. I might call him and I'm like, hey, here, I want you to take a look at this thing I did and da-da-da. And, there are times when he's like, I can just tell in his voice, like, and I call him, and then it's like, okay, it's not a text. I'm like, all right, I'm ready for my beatdown. What did I do? He's like, well, it's this, and this, and I like the. So I don't think we're offended by much.
Yeah.
I don't think we're just not offended. We don't spend any time in the mire. Like, that's low level shit.
Well, it's required for business, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to be mature enough to actually
take constructive criticism,
Forget
right?
this.
Yeah.
put yourself in the mindset of
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like
Where they're
okay,
coming from.
I know them. I know them well enough to know, like you said earlier, they wouldn't do this on purpose to hurt the company.
Was that intentional? Right?
Yeah.
Intentionality. Can
Was that intentional?
Yeah.
And, I mean, and that's a skill like for your entire life to try and learn.
100% with your wife.
Is like when something happens and you're so pissed and like the rage brain happens. Like it happened to me like an hour ago, right? And I'm just like, but then it's also like, okay, where are they coming from? Why do I need to react this way? Is this justified? Is there a way to like sort it out? Because like 90% of the time, the person is completely unaware that you're pissed at them or whatever.
I have no clue.
And they have completely pure intentions most of the time. No, there are some pieces of shit out there, don't get me wrong. But that's why we surround ourselves with people like David, Marvin, Josh, Travis, right? Because we've been through it and we recognize people with good intentions.
I don't waste any time with it. Boundaries are a real thing for me. I believe in putting on my own oxygen mask first. I don't waste any time with people that are bringing me down or that don't understand the boundaries, that they don't live the way I want. And that's why I tell people, I know you think I'm a little, and I probably am. Maybe people might say it's more aggressive. I just live with strong boundaries, right? Because I don't give a fuck what you think, and I don't care how you feel about it. Like, this is my life. It's the only one I'm getting. And if you know how I need to live my life, and even if you're like, well, I don't want to be your friend, like, well, fine. Like, I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to, I'm really busy, so that's fine. And I have a cut off relationships for people I've known decades because I don't have a strong need to be liked, and I don't have a strong need to be like for your acceptance. And it's not that I don't care about people. I really do. I'm in the people business. I really do care about people. Yeah. But the boundaries thing and like just having I don't know, that for me it seems to be the only way I can live and like function. And I'm very protective with my house like that too. So
well, I think that's where it comes from. Don't go into business with like friends or family. You know how people say that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but my best friend is my business partner. I don't know. We get along just fine. Yeah. But like, is it that though? Is it because unless they're a forward thinker,
let me tell you,
like it's not going to work at all?
That's I think you can find that in more rare instances. I don't think people that are friends beforehand usually. I think there's a saying in the barber world: your client will become your friend before your friend becomes your client. And it's the same as my business partner will become my friend before my friend becomes my business partner.
That's true.
And it really is very pointed. Like, and I don't know why that dynamic exists, but it is the way it exists.
Oh, it's true though. We weren't friends before. I hit you up for video projects, but now.
Yeah, but now it's like Marvin and I. I love this guy. I talk to him all the time. Like,
I like
right?
that.
Like, I love his family.
Well, look at people working the grind. Like, how many coworkers become like best friends when they're in the trenches of a dishwashing pit
Do you know why?
or a construction zone?
Do you know why?
Why?
Because hard times build bonds.
Exactly.
That's why you see, like, as I know, as a fireman for years, I've been on tons of fires, tons of traumas, tons of like the worst shit you can ever see.
Yeah.
People who've been through the military and have been to war together, cops who've been through like shooting incidents. These people are, they always hear your brotherhood, right? It's because those tough times build bonds. And so Marvin and I going through growth pains, and Tyler and like like Tyler and I meeting and these things, like you go through these things, and as you do accomplish, you go over these hurdles. Those bonds are strengthened through tough times together.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, like, and again, I hate to be the jujitsu talking guy, but like that's what you do there. You guys, a bunch of dudes there together, going through a bunch of tough shit, and it builds bonds because you're all there getting fucking choked and your arm bent the wrong way and smashed and beaten up and blah blah blah. It doesn't matter if it's jujitsu or you're a cop or you're a fireman like I was, or you're in the military, or you own you're entrepreneurs. Going through tough times is what bonds people. And so, sure, going through it's tough, but when you come out on the other side, that bond is
It's an achievement
fucking
together.
sacred,
Yeah.
man, and it's unbreakable. And that's why, just to speak to what your point earlier, tough times are what builds those bonds. That's why you guys have become best of friends. It's because you guys have been through some shit. You've been through times where money's tight. You've been through times where clients are fuckers, and you've been through
Yeah.
That's what makes your bond tight. And so it's the same for us. We deal with shit all the time. We've tried to bring people on that were like, it'll be the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then it's like some bullshit and then some more bullshit. And I'm like, set it on fire. Let's run. and I'm like, fuck these guys. Like, we're wasting our time. And he's like, you're right. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
He'll tell me we're doing this thing because and whatever the hurdle is, like, sure, there's going to be. And I look for these things too. I just asked him this week. I want the top 3 initiatives for the company now. I need something that's revenue generating. I need something that's brand building, and something else. So I need to create some more hardships for myself. And like, this is how I function and thrive, and this is how we make progress. But
I also told him, like, hey, the 20 photos you sent me, give me some context as to what they are. So Marvin has a lot of homework.
Yeah, I actually have to do this though. I can't delegate this shit, right? So, it's fine. It's done.
No, I love where you're coming from. Like, what I've decided, like, the name of the episode. Usually we try to determine it beforehand.
Yeah.
But it's choosing partnerships.
There you go. That's awesome.
That is the perfect.
That's exactly
title
what this is
for this episode, because we've all been through that, right? We've all been fucked over. We've all been screwed. Yeah. But like, the value of when you have that partner or partners that like can take the specific task, and deal with it in the social world or in the task-oriented world, like, it's fantastic. So
that's true.
And you're right. You can say we've all been fucked over. We've all suffered through our times. But if we didn't taste wins and successes and see progress, and even in the year I've been with SMP Inc., this year plus shortly or whatever, like, if we didn't see progress and things happening, we might have changed directions in some way or another. We've just seen, so we've dealt with a couple.
Well, it's made us way stronger.
But we see wins consistently in our house. I would say it's super fair to say there are fucking wins, like, across the board. Marvin tells me about some shit. I tell him about things. We're like, holy shit, these things are like, we see a lot of wins in our house. And I think it's one thing to be like, oh, if everything was bad all the time, and now we're just drinking together because our life sucks, instead of having a causation for
even as partners, we've gone through hard times, right? Like, we've had that bleeding heart complex where we're working with companies with no money just to try to help them succeed and pulling them up, like, out of the water to succeed, like, for years together, right? And only now, and in the past too, like, we've survived. It's been fine, but we recognize, like, we've developed the skills in order to execute the most challenging marketing situations at the lowest possible budget. We can apply those skills to the national market, to the international market.
We're going there.
We are shifting our entire perspective.
Oh, wait, you gotta get everybody, brother.
Hey! Lean in.
Wide angle.
All right.
We just took a selfie.
Those
Those are still in style.
Just a quick thing about that. People think that the internet, that international and nationwide marketing is hard, which is why they hire big companies to do it.
It's actually easier.
It's the easiest part of
Really?
marketing. Local marketing is actually tougher than any other marketing you'll ever do,
Really?
because now you have a demographic of people that you have to specifically know and appease with advertising. And you have to know a lot about them prior. You have to do a lot of research, and you have to adapt very quickly. Whereas US, you just fucking, all right, cool. Got my little ad posted. Oh, only this many people clicked on it. All right, maybe I'll just tweak it a little bit. Like, you have so many people to target that makes it so easy to just point and fucking click. It's on. Awesome. Let's just optimize a little bit. Whereas like local, oh, this client spent their last $2,000 for me to do this. And if they don't do it, then they're going to be really strapped, and then I'm affecting their entire livelihood, and they have a family. The amount of stress it takes on me to like do this shit right is not like a U.S. campaign. Oh, we got like $10,000. Just whatever, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm dealing with people. Like, if I don't succeed, I am hurting somebody's livelihood. Like there's a lot of pressure on
and
them.
then their employees' livelihoods.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a trickle effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why the success stories are great. But like, I've had to deal with that, all from minimum, no money, like scraps to pay Google and or whatever advertising platform, and just make that shit work. And then I make them way more money than they fucking spend, and I can't just guarantee that every time we sell.
Well,
something.
it's like when I started making wedding videos, right? So my very first company I started was Pulse Productions. I did exclusively wedding videos until like people convinced me to make videos for their weddings or for their businesses. But as I was making wedding videos, I realized the class of client was way different. Like, the more people paid, like the more grateful they were for the product they received. Like, that was a huge lesson for me. And then like I started very cheap, right? And I slowly started like increasing the price. And there has to be a strategy to every part of business, because when I started to increase the price, now all the cheap brides that were really, really, really needy couldn't afford me, but the expensive brides did not recognize me of value because my price was so low. There must be something suspicious about that.
I'm bougie. I usually just pick
Oh, yeah.
the most expensive shit.
Well, I mean, are you going to be Apple or Samsung?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty straightforward. Like, you can be the thing that has that vibe,
It's just me.
or you cannot.
I'm very.
Well, through experience, you just kind of realize you get what you pay for.
Yeah, you do.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
You pay for cheap shit.
What I'm hearing is
Gonna break.
we need to up our invoices.
It doesn't
to
always
all
work
of
though.
them.
Yeah,
Like,
well, let's charge everyone
I
like
think
way
we
more.
charge S&P way more than what we're charging, is what I'm hearing.
No, not them,
Oh,
not
shit.
them, not them. They're our
That
friends.
just happened. Didn't it? Okay.
It's all right. We're locked in. We're locked in.
It's just it's just funny that in business you just learn so many things. I mean, I'm still young. I'm only 31 years old,
Damn,
and
you're young.
I've been doing
Just a baby, really.
whatever. And I've been trying to do business, when I was younger in high school, and I was fucking slinging candy from Costco and monsters from Costco at schools. Like, that's what got me into kind of making money like that. You know what? Funny story is, my first business was an e-juice company for electronic cigarettes in California. That was my first ever terrible business to get into, by the way.
You're a drug dealer.
But I was 19. No, what?
It's a drug dealer. It's caffeine.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, so far I've heard I deal caffeine.
Yeah, caffeine, whatever.
Yeah, pretty soon, like
I'm really good at it, apparently.
Gateway, drug sales into.
And now I'm giving
Hey, don't pick on my cigars,
whiskey.
please.
Yeah.
It was going in through all of that shit. I think I've learned every fucking hard thing imaginable, but I never thought to you know what, I'm just gonna stop. And that's kind of what brought me here. That's what made me meet him, and he was the same way. No matter how hard no matter how hard it is, me and him are both like, hey man, how's it going?
Let me just interject really quick. I love what you just said, and I think at 31 that's a really great perspective. But I'm gonna tell you something. When you say, you've learned every hard thing, I promise you haven't. You have not learned everything.
No, I mean,
you are going to
hyperbole is
buckle up, because you're 50, I'm 51. With 20 more experience, I can tell you this ride is going to get wild, and you're going to see twists and turns that you've never expected, and that we all aspire in business and in life to be at this place where it's like we've reached nirvana, we have money, and we're happy. And your life is the hard fucking things that happen to you along the way. So I promise you haven't hit the worst of the worst that's going to happen, and as long as you don't die. Right? You're as long
as you're still living.
It won't get easier, but you will get better and better at dealing with shit.
That's
probably
true.
one of the reasons why Marvin and I don't spend a bunch of time dealing in the minutia of bullshit, right? Because we're like, don't care, it doesn't even matter.
That's true.
So just 31.
It's good perspective too.
You have a great perspective, Josh. I really love it, but I promise you have not seen life.
I'm looking forward to it though, man. I mean, every hardship brings me. I'm way more skilled in business than I was at fucking 19 years old.
Sure.
Because of it. There's so many lessons I've learned where that's a bad idea. Don't do that.
Great. Another great perspective. You can kick your 10 years prior. Yourself 10 years prior. You can kick that guy's ass in business now, and that's all the measure that matters, right?
Right. Oh, 100%. Actually, yeah. You look back 10 years. Heck yeah, bro.
Eventually,
I thought
it has to get
$10,000 a
better.
month was unreachable.
No, it doesn't.
Nothing gets better ever. Even if you learn and adapt and improve and strive.
I want you to remember this.
So everything will always suck.
And it will get worse, but you will get better. But you will get better. Nothing will get easier. Nothing will get better. You will never reach. There will never be a point. You may have moments where your life.
I'm having some doubts,
you get to coast. You will have times where you may get to coast and chill for a bit, but the car breaks. There's a problem at home. Somebody dies. You get injured.
Your pets' heads are falling off.
Pets' heads are falling off. Like this is a real
Dumb and Dumber reference.
It's a Dumb and Dumber reference.
Great. It's great.
But things aren't going to stop happening, and you're not going to reach nirvana, and it's not going to get easier, but you are going to get better as the result of working through these things.
That's right.
Yeah,
this is why we talk about suffering together and getting better and moving. I promise you, life is not going to get better. I with all of my heart, I'll die on that hill.
Better than now?
I'll die on that hill that life is not getting better.
Is it going to get a little bit better at least?
No.
In different aspects of
I don't know, man. I have a car broken down in my backyard, and I had to pay $700 to fix my sprinklers today.
It won't get better.
But if I do a couple more jobs and get my yard green and my car fixed, things will feel a little better because I've worked my ass off to get where I am.
Well, first of all, when you're in a position like we are 20 years down the road and that shit happens and we can find that money in our couch cushions, it didn't get easier. We got better. I don't give a fuck how you try to phrase it. I don't give a fuck what problem you tell me you have. It will not get better. It will not get easier. The car, the sprinklers.
Well, life is life no matter what.
But
what
again,
you've done.
You get better. So 20 years from now, when you're sitting where we are, and that kind of money is in your couch cushions, and I'm telling you, it's not a big deal, and you don't give a fuck. It didn't get easier. You just got better. That's all it is.
Real quick question before we review this whiskey.
Yes.
What is your life goal?
Well, first thing I always wanted to be successful, so I always wanted to know what that meant. What is successful? I want to be rich. When you're young, you're like, you want this because you want to buy materialistic things. You just want whatever. But my life goal now would be, having enough money to buy freedom. Because money isn't about how much. There's not going to be a dollar sign. Okay, if I make $2 million, I made it, right? That's it. There's no number content that there is. It's when you have enough money to buy freedom. So it becomes time at this point. Time is everything. If I have time to play with my daughter, or go out with my wife and do certain things like that, that's more valuable than buying a car or doing anything crazy. It's but if you don't have the money for that freedom to do that, now you're prisoning yourself by being locked in a job or whatever. So I just want to make enough money to where I feel free, and I don't know what that number is going to be, and I'll know when that time comes. I'm close, but not close enough, right? We'll see. in the next few years. But that's essentially my life goal. I just, I live for just the freedom of doing what I want to do.
Nice.
Very similar to mine.
Yeah, that's
David,
good.
what's your life goal?
To create the best version of myself and give that gift back to the world. It's that simple. Some of that's wrapped up in what it used to be wrapped up is in status and in money. I've seen great success in my life at several different levels. I've proven all the things I want to prove. My next success will be with my family and my children. But if I'm just giving you the most simple answer, my life's goal is to create the very best version of myself and give that gift back to the world. I think that's the purpose of our existence.
Yeah.
But my next step, like my next level of success, the money will come. I don't even have any doubt about it, just from the trajectory I've already seen in what I've done. My next goal, though, is to do some homeschooling with my children, to take my kids out of the system, raise them, raise my son specifically to learn how to be a good household leader, a good man of God, how to take acceptable risk, how to fail, how to get back up, how to truly be a man in today's world to the best of my ability, and to teach my daughter, the feminine side and to model after her mother, who is my wife Jennifer Furrow Kelman, who is my best friend.
Who's amazing, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. She's the best person I've ever met in my life. But my goal is to homeschool my kids and to start creating my legacy there. I can do this in business with my eyes closed. I want so badly to do this now for my children that's the next version, and that's part of the best version of me is saying that I did what I can instead of raising my kids for 2 hours a day when I get home, right? Because that's the time I've got left, and on weekends when I have time because I have to do administrative work and I have yard work to do and fix shit, and they're all daddy, and I'm like, I can barely give you my time. I'm not going down that way. That's not the way my life ends. And so that's for me what that's what's next.
It's great. It's crazy how our goals change over time.
Yeah.
Like how they evolve as we age and mature and deal with hardships and whatnot. Josh, what's your life goal? Like, why do you do this?
Life goals. I want to build generational wealth. So, because I come from a super poor side of my family, and none of my family are entrepreneurs. I grew up in Palmdale, California, super ghetto. Not a good uprising, and that's kind of where our families kind of originate. I'm doing the abnormal, and so I'm just I want to build something that my kids, whether or not they take on whatever I was doing, I don't care. I just want them to grow up and understand that making money isn't as hard as what people make it out to be, that there's things you can do if you just look outside the box or think outside the box,
or that you don't have to accept your situation.
You
can fight for the future.
Yeah, you can do anything you want to do, but calculated. I want to teach them, from seeing me and seeing what I'm doing. My kids have grown up now pretty much watching me do business, and they love going to dad's office and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But generational wealth, I want to leave them with stuff to give them the freedom to choose what they want to do and learn what they want to do calculatively, so that they can make their own legacy and their own generational wealth as well within that family, based off of the hard ass work and all the sacrifice that I had to make. That's my life goal.
I like that.
It's yours.
I'm not going to leave my children any money. Taking out my properties and my vehicles and my guns and my...
They got to earn it just like you, right?
I'm going to spend down to my last dollar, and they can make their own money. They can have all my... I love properties and shit.
Well, you taught them all the lessons. Like, they won't develop the personality until they've done exactly what you did.
No. Their life won't get easier. They'll just get better.
What about you, Travis?
With it. So, yeah, Travis,
So, my life goal is very similar to Marvin's. It's just freedom, right? Like, okay, so it's going to sound materialistic.
What is freedom to you?
Like, I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
You don't have to ask nobody.
What I want when I want it. I want to own a business of some type when I want to and have the money to invest and the knowledge to know how to make it succeed. I want to see businesses here locally and be like, you know, that one needs help, but the potential is here. And Josh and I know how to make it reach there. I want to like reach into that business and be like, hey, make us partner, like, and own that business to make it succeed with the knowledge that we have. Like, I want to just grow exponentially because I know we can.
Sure.
Like, we know how to.
Yeah, we will.
We just have to execute the right way.
I really like that. Do you know the difference between self-employed and being a business owner? Being self-employed means you work for yourself constantly and you're always at your business and you're always humping and pumping to make the dollar, and you can make money, but you have to trade your time for that. I have reached a point with my businesses and income where I'm now only exchanging about 20 hours a week of client engagement. And the rest of my time is for my children and jujitsu and like my wife and the thing. So that is what a business owner should aspire to, is that's the freedom. Self-employed doesn't mean dick. Right, it's fine when you're making money, and you guys are young, so you should be self-employed right now because you're. But 20 years from now, you guys should look at being business owners, and that's where Marvin and I are headed as business owners. Where he has scaled, like I've scaled my business in the barbershop side. He's scaled the SMB business, where we don't do this and this constantly. We have people doing this, right? And we are able to reap the rewards of that, and we kind of do the higher level shit. But that's something I want you boys both to think about, is like self-employed versus
that's what we're doing
being
towards
a
Inspire
business
now,
owner. So look at your future state and map that out very clearly with a vision, and take your current state and where you're at, and then you need to build the tasks. This is the project manager in me getting at you. And the tasks that are in between that say, in order to become a business owner, as from self-employed, what does that look like?
I like that.
How do we get there? So
that's also probably good information for a lot of people. Like people that will actually listen. What Travis says every time, the 4 listeners, when they listen, it'll that'll help out.
They're a great.
I mean, it's good advice.
You guys should meet them,
actually. That we take out too. You know what's really funny is just to close out before we go and do that. We're very similar, and you and Marvin are very similar.
No, that's what I'm saying. You guys are like perfectly across from each other.
This is so crazy. Like, I can see like the vibe is like almost. It's almost us. Like we're on that.
Could you help me understand? Because I just
except for my hair, I need to get a haircut.
Yeah, that's
it. That's it. Right.
It's hard to look at.
Jesus Christ.
I love you, man. I'm just teasing you. If I didn't like you, Josh, I wouldn't tease you. I literally I wouldn't even talk to you. I wouldn't
David, you're super direct. You're very direct, and you speak your mind, and that's what it is. Josh is the exact same way. Like there's no hesitation, right?
You're a numbers guy. I mean, here's the number. I don't know what to tell you. I think that's in our meeting. That's what I told. I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's not good.
Well, and you're driven, right? Like you've come from like where are you from?
Originally, St. Augustine, Florida, the oldest city in the country.
Yeah, and what was life like there? Like your childhood?
My parents were. My mom was a cocktail waitress. My dad worked in an aluminum factory. They educated themselves. They became teachers. I was very blue collar. Lived in a trailer until we moved to Arizona until I was about 7 years old, and I lived a very middle class life for many years. It wasn't until my parents, like years down the road, like my father made some real money. My mom retired as a high school teacher, and so I mean
was there an exact moment where you decided to become an entrepreneur? Like,
when I was 27 years old, I was the first. I was so good. This is going back like 25 years, right, guys? Like I'm 50, so almost 25 years. I was 27 years old, and I said, for a company I was working for, I set a 35-year record for sales, and I was making $102,000, which was more than both of my parents combined at that time. So I realized at that point that I was capable of far more than like I knew I was capable of a lot more than just doing that. And since then, I've owned multiple companies. I've worked across multiple industries. Both in project management. I've been a firefighter, paramedic. I have citations for valor for operations in high risk environments. I have, I can go on with the accolades for my barbershop, but this isn't a beat my chest party. I don't not value those things anymore. I do, but I don't live off them anymore. I don't. The value is that the best version of myself lives somewhere in there, but it isn't all of me, right? It isn't all of me, and that's
it changes over time as you evolve.
Well, it does, and so the best version of me though is has a lot more to give back to my family and my community, and it's not just business. It's not just
and that's a fascinating part of the question of what is your end goal, right? Because it like 10 years ago, my end goal would be different than what it is
100%.
10 years from now, it's going to be different again.
Wait till you've proven it to yourself over and over, and then one day you look at yourself and you're like, I don't need to prove anything to you. Right. I don't need to prove anything to you, and I don't give a fuck what you think, because I don't need to prove anything to you anymore. Like,
exactly,
I don't care what you think anymore, because I've already done it. Like, I've lived that life. I know what I've done, and I don't need you to clap for me either, and I don't need to write it down and put it on my medals on my chest and trophies on my wall. I don't give a fuck. But what I do care about is like creating that best version of myself where I do get to raise my kids, and I do get to have an impact, and I do create a legacy, because when I'm dead and gone, like, my kids are going to remember me. Maybe my grandkids will, maybe if I'm lucky, and then I'm going to live on a Facebook page and an Instagram somewhere, or in some dusty attic with some fucking pictures from when I grew up, because I'm a Gen Xer and we still had pictures, like hard copy pictures. But the truth is
it's not synced to the cloud though.
Hey, listen, we're all headed that way, gentlemen. So that's why I talk to people about, like, take the risk, spend the fucking money, like, take some acceptable risk, do the fucking things that you want to do without crying and fussing about it. It's not the right time, and I don't have any money. It's
never the right time.
Fuck up and just do the thing that you do, because in 100 years it won't matter. No one's going to remember you, and nobody cares. So
absolutely,
that's true, though.
This is it.
I mean, whether or not people want to hear that, right? Like, that's actually super true. Well, I learned it a long time ago, and from podcasts. And then actually I was like, oh yeah, people actually don't give a shit.
Well, and the first thing I did when I started editing his videos, I'm like, hey Josh, you want to start a podcast? Let's make a podcast about whiskey.
Seems like it was a good idea.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. So anyways, let's move on to this. So what do you guys think? I want
everyone has some. No,
I want to have Marvin be last, because as a mixologist, he's going to know a lot more of like the nuances, and I'm actually really curious to see what
I didn't know Marvin was a mixologist before that I let David pressure me into making him a cocktail. So now I feel really self-conscious.
Well, he came in, he brings me to Goni.
So my first cocktail and David's like, Marvin's going to love this. You didn't say he used to be a mixologist.
I used to make menus for him.
You know what pressure that puts me under?
Bro,
if you give him a steak and he asks what cut is it, fuck you. It's your mistake.
So I'm over here just like, oh, Marvin's going to love this. I hand it to him and he's like, yep, that's a cocktail. That's a cocktail.
I used to make menus for... I used to make menus for
just know,
high-end restaurants in Vegas.
Marvin, you had the very first cocktail I've made ever.
And what did I tell you?
You
Not
said
that hard. It's just 3 parts.
Yeah.
I said it's Campari, sweet vermouth.
That's like my first wedding video review. Hey, it's better than nothing.
It is, but it was good though. You did it right.
And I was like, thank you, customer.
Your orange Rhine was good. I enjoyed it. Campari, sweet vermouth.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Salute. Salute.
All right.
It was good. It was good.
Oh, man.
All right, let's review this whiskey.
All right, so David, what do you think? So this is Angel's Envy, finished rye whiskey, finished in Caribbean rum cask.
That's what I was mentioning earlier.
So for me, in terms of like what I get out of this, It's heavy on like the malt. It's heavy on the caramel. It's heavy on the maple. I really enjoy sweeter whiskeys like this.
Me too.
It doesn't have a heavy bite. I think a cube would really open this up, but I understand why you drink it this way.
I really would.
I actually have not had Angel's Envy that I can remember, so I would rate this probably like a 9 out of a 10 for a good sipping.
9 out of a 10.
Good sipping whiskey.
Damn.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big again. From a guy who doesn't drink too often, like remember, I drink bougie shit too. So like I have Clausia Azul in my house that I do an agave rim and a slice of orange, and
We should have you sponsor an episode.
fine. I don't care. I like bougie shit, and I can tell this is this is something good. The last time I hung out with you guys treated me to a beautiful bottle of a 16-year-old well peated Scotch, and it was fantastic, man.
What was it?
So
What was it?
I don't remember.
Josh, what was it?
What was the Scotch you got for us? The last one.
Oh,
Malvini?
David
It wasn't the
no,
Malvini.
it was Glenn.
Glenfiddich or Fiddich?
No,
Fiddich.
No.
You know what?
It's in my. I got it in the shop. He's probably still got the bottle.
Did you replace it?
If it's super peaty, it's
It was
is,
very
is,
peaty.
is it Islet? It's Fiddick, yeah.
Single malt. Yeah, the Islet. Yeah.
Islet,
Yes.
yeah.
It was that limited release.
Yeah, 12-year.
Because he said he like peated Scotch.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
We take it pretty seriously. Like when we have a guest that's like someone notable, especially when we're doing business with them. Like this is like our invitation into our house. It's very serious.
Well, thank you, boys, again.
Yeah, we want to take care of you guys. We want to give you guys some good. So when Travis said that you were on this, I was like, dude, open it.
Yeah, you're like,
like, "Are you
the
sure?"
reason
I was like,
this
"I
is
don't
really
know
good,"
any
and I'm like,
feelings
all right,
about it.
Josh, like let's just open this.
Out of curiosity, what did the bottle cost?
So these go for about what, $80 ish?
Cool. Yeah, so
$80, $90, depending on where you go. I
Sort of
guess.
like Blanton's and that
Yeah.
range. So that's usually where I drink most of my bottles. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
the
Like
bourbon
80
version is a little bit more expensive. This one was because they only come out with rye batches. Like it's pretty common to find this, but it's still allocated, right? So,
It is.
Well, it's good. It's
rare.
a good choice, gentlemen. Thank you.
And I made you my first cocktail.
so
Thank you.
what were some
I'm
of the
honored.
notes that you get out of it?
Caramel notes, obviously from the Caribbean cask or whatnot. That's the first thing you taste. That's
Do you
why
get
it's
the
sweet.
caramel taste?
A lot. I mean, if you can see the viscosity with the legs on this thing, it definitely hangs for a while. So that's when you can really tell, the thickness of it. And obviously when you sip, it's similar to wine. Just kind of open your nose, let it go in your palate, let it aerate through, and you'll get that proper, those notes right on your tip of your palate. It's really good. Now, if you look at that, you see Glenfiddich, 12 years aged. Now, if you look at a bunch of Scotch, from Scotland, whatever, so 12 years, 15 years, 21 years, right? But then you go to the U.S., they don't last that long. If you ever notice, they don't give you the age on bourbon, okay?
No.
And there's a reason for that. And it's because of our weather, okay? So if you look at Islay Scotch, right, right off the island of Scotland, it's pretty much the same temperature year round. It doesn't go through crazy highs and lows, right?
Yeah.
So you could age it for that long.
Yeah.
Now bourbon in Kentucky, brutal weathers, brutal summers, brutal winters. It goes through so many changes of that. It's almost like going 12 years, 15 years. So they're relatively the same. So it's just a marketing thing to make you spend a little bit more money.
true.
But in the end, bourbons are actually stronger for the weather that it actually goes through. It's pretty crazy.
I like
So,
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think mainly what I like is bourbon. Like, so rye, it's pretty rare that I would actually like enjoy a rye. This one's okay. Like if I have a rye, it's gonna be an Angel's Envy because with the actual rum cask, it takes away that rye earthy taste I hate.
Pemberton rye is good.
Buy it.
Pemberton rye, Templeton rye is good.
Actually, Eagle Rare is
Eagle Rare's
actually one that I
21.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Eagle
phenomenal.
Rare is really good.
But I don't get the caramel in this as much as I do with like the white oak spiciness to
Yeah,
it.
you get some spice, the nutmeg. I taste nutmeg.
It's a pretty complex.
It is.
It was great.
You know what I like is
They added a lot.
the way we describe whiskey, like caramel. I prefer this caramel over actual caramal,
Oh, so do I.
right?
Absolutely.
Well, like all the notes of whiskey,
True,
like,
though.
when you
Absolutely.
actually taste it, and there's no other way to describe the flavors, right?
This is a quick burn too. It's
Oh, yeah.
It's a fast burn. It doesn't
Oh, yeah.
like sit with you long. You know, it's just real quick. So
The caramel taste I like is the Old Forester 1920 is my
Actual caramel,
favorite.
I'm like,
that's my go-to bottle. $75. I mean, dude, but it's a go-to. You can sip it all day. Like that is the greatest thing.
so when are we getting Pappy in here?
A bottle of Pappy.
I think
once you bring Tyler over here.
How about this?
Mm-hmm.
I'll get a Pappy,
he'll be out this summer.
or after our first class,
Okay,
Oh
and
yeah.
we celebrate with everybody.
enough.
We'll do Pappies.
let's do it. Now that's a
Wherever-
celebration.
whoever we have to
with
go
a nice
to.
Cuban, forget about
Yeah.
it, right?
I'll get Pappies for sure.
Yeah.
Pappies
We'll
is
come out for it. We'll film wherever we are.
Okay.
It's one of the rare
Vintage.
whiskeys you can get, and they're usually ranging from around $2,000 all the way to $15,000.
$15,000.
The more you buy it.
Didn't you get
I did.
Trans Dad one of those?
I did. I got him. I got the owner of.
He's an Asian oligarch, man.
Yeah, he's
Fucking
the man. So
yeah.
he's so he has everything, you know. But his son is running PMU World, and we got to chop it up. And he was loving whiskeys. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring you a present next time. So I brought him a bottle of Pappy. You know what I mean? So,
Which is
Fuck yeah.
yeah,
You know,
15 year or two.
I mean, it'd be really nice to. How did you manifest that? How did you manifest things? That
You
you
just put your hand to your head and just
No, the
really
story you were
focus.
telling, it was I really like that Pappies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I really like that. I,
You,
really like
you just tell someone like, man,
I would really love a Pappies.
yeah,
for sure.
that watch is really nice.
You know how I was
I
told.
really like that watch.
I collect whiskey.
You know how I was told to manifest. I did a bunch of reading and on manifesting, and what they tell you to do is, for instance, if you're wanting a really nice house, for instance, okay, you would picture yourself waking up in the middle of the night, walking down the stairs, feeling the cold floor, going to the fridge and opening that fridge. It's like you're putting yourself in the place, so you're literally visualizing, feeling the same way with like a car. Like, okay, I want this Lamborghini. So you picture opening up the door, sitting in that low cut bucket seat, touching that steering wheel and feeling it. It's just like, that's manifesting it, you know, by visualizing all these little small features that come to life. And I do that a lot. And I don't know if it works, but
it's meditation too.
it is a form,
Personally,
100%.
I don't.
I don't know if there's a right or wrong way. I mean, there's no book on it. It says that, you know, here's a bunch of facts.
Meditation is
see-
about
But, yeah.
mindfulness and presence,
Yeah.
like being present, and like that's
Being present in what you're trying to, 100%.
like that's really what that is. It's
Yeah.
actually a very poignant thing to do in anything we do. Right? It doesn't matter if it's your body, your bank account, your
That's
professional life, or possessions.
Yeah.
And while you pictured walking down the cold floor, I have heated floors in my house.
Oh, you live in Idaho. I forgot. I need it cold because I live in Arizona.
No,
so I'm like,
see,
oh, I feel so good on my feet.
Like
We get
you're
a house in Hawaii.
Total
It's
opposite.
like
You-
big ass lanai.
Cheers.
your version of manifestation, like, would piss me off though, right? Because I'd sit there and I'd be like, oh man, it could be so good, and then I'd like open my eyes and be
your eyes.
like, like I'd rather get pissed off that I haven't succeeded at the point where I could succeed when I know my
You can still make
talents
that
and
work
values.
for you.
No. That's just like it's good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's good to have different versions of motivation.
It's okay to have that
Because
fire, too.
like for me, like I have the fire, but I'm also a super soft-spoken, strategic person. I say what needs to be said when it needs to be said to the people that need to hear it,
Yeah, I'm the same
and
way.
very, very specific, on purpose. And then until I'm drunk, then I
Because
say
when
that.
he speaks is when it must be important, right?
Yeah. But I also am like striving constantly for that next thing, because it is bullshit that Josh and I have been partnered for like 3 years, and then we are serving like mom and pop shops, and fucking I have to wait a month to fill my fridge. Like, okay, Ari, have another corn dog.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's
Yeah,
like how are we so poor when we're so fucking good at what we do? And that's where it's like we need to find a different approach to the same problem with a different
That
solution.
takes time, Travis.
Yeah.
That takes time.
Well, patience is fine, but I will never not have the drive to push to how far it needs to go, because I've
you
seen
should
plenty
have
of
that
people
fire.
just like, lay down. Like, oh, well, this sucks.
Listen, you're
Lay
already
down.
in a whole different like crew just by owning your own business.
Oh yeah,
Do you understand?
No,
Like,
and that's the
you
thing is
really-
I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong.
Sounds
Like
like it.
I am not complaining at all, because I've put things into.
Well, I mean, he made the point.
Sounds like it. Sounds like a what the heck, man?
Dude, he made
I'm
the
not
point.
complaining. I'm saying like life can suck, but instead of just like imagining how nice it could be, I'd rather get pissed off and motivate myself to make the decisions to make it better.
Sure.
But you have to have a map to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you can't get there.
No, you don't have to have it.
You're in the right car, bro.
You have to. You
You're
have
in
to
the right car.
recognize. You have to recognize the goals and actually like
You
recognize
have a map.
potential and put yourself there.
You have a map to
No.
where you're going, bro. You're on the right path. You're on the right road.
You're in a very, very limited club. Of
A map is made by someone else and handed to you. Like I don't feel like I've ever had someone say, "Hey, this is what you need to do to succeed. Here's your map."
Welcome to the world of entrepreneurship, sir.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Well, it's still a map.
Yeah.
It's still a map because
an entrepreneur doesn't jump off a cliff and build his wings on the way down.
100%.
Jumps off
There's
a cliff
three things
and builds an
an
airplane on the
entrepreneur
way down.
does that every entrepreneur should
Yeah.
know. There's three things. These three things are simple. Use other people's ideas, other people's efforts, and other people's money.
Bang.
You didn't come up with this idea to do this, did you? But you're still doing it. You're using other people's efforts. You guys are working together. You're using other people's things that you do. Other people's money. You take the money that we pay you to help grow your company in other directions. So you take money from the bank and loans to get you where you need to go. Those are all three things that everybody. It is a map. Those are what you need to do, and you're doing it. So you don't even know that you're doing it, but technically you are. So that's kind of what you need to do. Yeah.
True that.
And he made the point, and he said something like, there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner. There's a lot of business owner on Instagram who go, I'm a business owner. But when you go work for somebody and clock in, you're not a business owner.
Right.
When you're an entrepreneur and the money you make supports you and your family, that's a fucking entrepreneur. You know what I mean? So anybody could open up a lemonade stand and say, I'm in this business, but you got to go clock in and do some shit. You're not a real business owner. You know what I mean? We don't do this part-time. This is our full-time gig.
Every
So
day.
kudos.
You gotta work your way up.
Yeah.
We take calls all the time. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I've gotten calls from Marvin late at night, text early morning. Like, whatever the fuck it is what it is, man.
And there's nothing wrong with working for somebody else. I'm going to put that out there, but there is one thing that another thing that I read that hit me.
I just can't do it.
That hit me kind of deep. Well, somebody said like you could be rich working for somebody else, but you'll never be wealthy by working for somebody else. You see what I mean? Like you're super rich or you're super wealthy when you're an entrepreneur. Like there's different levels to it. Like Shaq once said, Warren Buffett once said like Shaq is rich. Like he's super rich. Like, when he played for the Lakers, he was super rich. But wealthy is the guy paying Shaq, is the owner. You know what I mean? Like there's levels to this shit, right? Like Shaq, who would want? I'd love to be Shaq. I wish I had like 10% of what Shaq has. And he's a great entrepreneur now, right? Like, but imagine the guy paying Shaq, the owner. Like there's levels of this stuff. Imagine the guy who owns the color blue. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, when it comes down to it, though, it comes back to our like goals. Like, what do you want for your life, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the money is not what matters to me. It's the freedom.
It's the freedom. That's what I was saying.
It's the ability to have enough.
There's no number
have
to tell you what it's going to be.
Control of what I do and how it is. Like I don't imagine myself. We talked about this in the last podcast. I don't imagine myself ever retiring.
Yeah.
Because I fucking love business.
Yeah, it's
like
the game.
I love it.
It's a fun game, isn't
It's
it?
fascinating, right?
It's built
like-
into our DNA to like dominate and like, yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And like I'm not even that personality naturally, because my personality is very like, oh, let me hold open the door for you. Let me help you with this. But
Don't think for a moment those aren't alpha traits. Those are.
no,
Those are-
it can
those
be
are-
when cultivated the right way.
Those go down to your ancestors. I mean, that's hunter-gatherer. That's just built in you. You know what I mean? You're here to provide for you and your family. That's what a hunter-gatherer is, right? So,
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. But what I'm saying is that it's very exciting to see that the goals that we set can be way higher than anything else. Like we just keep pursuing it, right?
Yeah.
Like our actual goals to be beyond just rich or whatever.
There's a lot of focus for money at this table as far as like, oh, this wealth provides a certain level of freedom, and want to remind everybody that a man's life is like a wheel, and there are spokes on the wheel that have to be true. Finance is only one of those spokes. Okay, you have spirituality, you have your finances, you have your health. Okay, if your health isn't in line, fuck your money, bro. Did you ever read Steve Jobs' manifest?
Oh, yeah.
Go fucking read it. Go don't run, don't walk to read that shit as soon as we're done, because his manifest on his deathbed says, I have all the money in the world, I can't fix my shit, and I've spent all my time doing this, and it doesn't mean anything. Your health. You guys think
Your health is your wealth.
You guys think right now that money equals freedom? If I told you I'm going to give you $10 million right now, would you take it? If I told you I was going to give you $10 million, but you had a week to live, would you still take it? You wouldn't take it because it's not worth $10 million. Don't discount all the other things that come with freedom. So when I talk about the best version of myself, that best version is that's that wheel, right? Personal, professional, family, spiritual, health-wise. All those things fucking matter. Those are freedom. Freedom does not exist in money alone. It doesn't exist in my ability to buy a supercar or to travel the world or to buy a fucking Rolex. That shit's cool, right? It's fucking cool, but it doesn't buy me freedom, right? It doesn't buy, like, my health. If I only could choose health or money, it'd be health. All day. So where are you free?
Yeah.
Right. Like, have another corn dog because that's okay. Like, if that's what you got to do, so, gentlemen, what I'm going to tell you here is some old man advice for you is pay attention to the spokes on the wheel. The spokes on the wheel are not. It's not fine. If you're financial, it's like guys that go to the gym and do nothing else. They don't worry about that. They're just gym rats.
It's just one part. Yeah.
That's like, sure, you look good, but the rest of your life's in fucking shambles. You're divorced. Your kid. You don't talk to your kids. You don't have any money.
Well,
right?
most of life is like a balancing act.
Sure.
And a compromise.
But a lot of the talk here has been about, you guys think finances is freedom, and it's not. It's
It's a means to an end. It's a mean to whatever. But I think it's just
we're talking about like the goal for like what are we pursuing?
Yeah.
And instead of just saying I want to be fucking rich, no, like the money isn't the goal. Like the actual goal is to feel like you're free.
That's why I said there's no number on what I want, to essentially be free. But like, it's just, David and I we were eating dinner today, and we had a quick conversation. I'll end it short because I know we're cutting it. But like, we were having dinner, and he said, give me 3 things that we need to do so we keep pushing it forward. I got this, I got to do. And there's lulls, there's up and downs. Like there's like months you're motivated, you're hungry, you do whatever. And then there's times you're just going through the motions just to get it done. Right? Like, so that's human nature. But how bad you really want it is the question. Like, we all came up within this 3% category because 97% work for the 3%, who are successful in business.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask you two a question. Do you think you can make $1 million by the end of this year? Honestly, like be 100% honest. Do you think you can make $1 million this year?
For the business?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about 5 million?
I can believe it, yeah.
How about 10 million? Like, seriously, if your life depended on it, could you make $10 million by the end of this year? Because here's where I'm going. 10 million seems a little far-fetched, right? Yeah. Like, okay, it's $10 million. Okay, now what if I told you if everyone in your family would die if you didn't make $10 million and you have a year to do it, do you think you can make it then?
Make $10 million.
You'd fucking find a way.
My damn artist, yeah.
You'd come out with a way. Yeah. You'd probably not be so, you probably wouldn't be on social media as much. It wouldn't be that important, would it? You probably wouldn't sit back and watch show or have dinner or do certain things. You would be driven to make that happen.
Yeah, we'd exploit every single scam that makes infinite money. Like,
you would just do whatever it takes to get there.
It would be completely about the cash at that point.
It's your hunger level at that point, right? Like how serious you want to do to hit that goal. So just always remember that when you're
Well, there's low hanging fruit. Like we could AI generate a kids show with specific instructions and upload it every other day to YouTube in order to cash in on the cash from that. Like, there are certain things that you can do. like you could take scripts that are AI generated from the internet on current happenings and then just have it voice activated describe the thing with footage from stock, boom, video done. Like, just there's so many things you can do to just make money instantly.
If
it's
it
not
was
about
life
the
and death
money.
of the family, all I would do is call old people and have them buy gift cards for me, and then exploit them for.
Well,
that
not
money.
legal. How's that?
That's what
Oh, it has to be legal, Josh. It has to be legal.
That's to be legal.
Oh,
Yeah,
nobody said
anyway.
legal.
I think what you're really bringing light to is like, how are you making use of your time?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
like even our podcast
Yeah.
tonight, like this is absolutely fun. We have a partnership. We are friends. But like, would you guys spend your money? Would you spend your time here if this wasn't a revenue generating activity? Of
course not.
If it didn't,
If it was life or death,
if it was
with that,
life or
yeah.
death, and it was like, so you can look at things to that level if you want
Yeah.
to. I
But
don't know
technically
if that's
this is
real.
freedom, right?
We're not under duress, right? We're not.
Right.
It's not like, oh, this is really happening. But I think it's a good scenario to play. Like, how do you spend your time? Like,
Yep.
like how much couch time do you spend? How much
Yeah.
time do we sit and waste? I can't tell you how many times I'm just fucking, my brain's I'm just checked out and I'm getting my dopamine hits on the phone because it's just reels and puppies and kitties and
Right.
titties and
Movies.
and whatever else that are
But also, I'm really grateful to be here with
me
you
too.
two.
Sure.
Like
Yeah, us
like
too.
this is something that
I mean, technically, this is probably revenue generating, right?
Yeah.
technically, I mean, the 4 viewers, they like us, so
Yeah.
we're like
Just makes bonds, we make
and
more money.
sister and
We'll get a
everything
couple
else.
now. Just tag us.
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll cross post. It's just cool though
That's a
because
that's a good thought process.
like this, that the thing about our company and everything we've done so far and everything we've done with you guys is like it feels so right
Yeah.
as we execute.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's a big part of what I'm following. Like it felt right to tell you, like I could make a better website than you have, and it felt right to add the gold buttons like you suggested.
Yeah. Really good.
Where are my gold buttons?
They're on there. Check
He
it.
already
Check
did
it.
it.
It's right
He
there.
already pitched it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he did.
I did it today.
Ladies and gentlemen, TBD Marketing delivers.
Here it is.
We fucking
You didn't
deliver.
fucking know it was done.
It was that quick.
But let's wrap up.
Okay.
I'd love it if you could shout out your stuff, David. You could shout out your stuff. I mean,
do
I've
you wanna
made
tell?
most of
What's
your
coming
stuff
up?
these days, so it's going to be a.
Okay.
Any news?
I got some news. Your boy's all over the place. We're doing a WooLap event in Vietnam. That'll be in July. Tyler and I should be out there doing some judging, for a permanent makeup convention or whatnot. We'll be back in New York in August, at the end of August. We're doing the Queen's Night event, which is a permanent makeup convention. We'll be doing some judging on that. And then literally 2 weeks later, we'll be in Miami for the World's Permanent Makeup Conference there. Dave and I will be attending. Tyler will be there as well. We'll be doing some speaking, keynote speakers on that event about SMP. So that'll be really cool. We'll be with the one and only Matt Iulo as well. He'll be on stage with us. That's going to be pretty awesome. That's a great event. And then the next month, right after that, we'll be in Milan, Italy, judging the World SMP contest for Queen's Night as well. So
We need to film that one.
that's going to be a fun one. So that's just until August, and some things are in the works for Australia as well, probably for October, November-ish as well. So a lot of big things coming up. Vegas, we're opening a brand new office coming up this week. Actually, we should do the grand opening in about a month right after that, and any of you boys come down, get some footage of that, kind of
Sounds
get it
good.
up and running.
Yeah.
We'll go Cello Cigar Bar. You always got to come down there, of course. We got to help launch that thing and get it up and running. So there's quite a bit of stuff in the works for SMP Inc. And we got the big USA site coming along. We got all other, Kanisha, shout out to you over there in Atlanta, Wayland, Tennessee, like everybody. We're just a growing company. Magic Mind, get your shit together. Let's roll. Other than that, guys, that's it for my end.
Nice.
Yeah. Nothing much. Couple
David.
small things.
Yeah, not a big deal. Just
Couple big trips.
casual.
Yeah, world travel for SMP Inc. So, in addition to just supporting all the SMP Inc. USA initiatives with Marvin and Tyler, Again, we have the PMU event coming up where I'll be attending that. And in the meantime, we've only SMP Inc. CDA just moved into this location as of November. You guys have seen the trajectory. You've seen how busy we've been over there. We are already having our second training class over there, so we are producing. Third training. Oh my God, it's the third training class.
And you have a handful of students ready to serve.
Third, bro.
Oh my God, that's the third one.
Like you're the only building the sites. You're the only SMP Inc. location that potentially could have people working around the clock should the demand need. Because you've trained very talented people from the very beginning.
Yeah, I do hold the reins really tight though, and that's mostly because I'm just very protective of.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I say that you've trained very talented people before they even accept training.
Yeah. We're making leaps and bounds there. Some of my guys have just taken on their first clients, have brought in their first clients, and it's a progression.
Nice.
My trajectory has been different, but I've invested thousands of dollars and thousands of hours into becoming a professional and chasing Marvin around the country and other respectable artists and practitioners so that I can be in this position. Right? It didn't just happen by accident.
Yeah.
So and of course we just launched our newest website for Lake City Deluxe Barbershop and Shave Company. We have
It's a very cool website.
Yes, and we have 2 locations, one in the East Sherman district and of course one here downtown. Our website is respectively www.deluxebarbershopcda.com. We are Coeur d'Alene's first and only luxury barbershop offering luxury services, top shelf products. We are hiring currently, which is super important. And then we have www.smpinkcda, which is our scalp micropigmentation business that we run from our flagship store here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Heck yeah, guys. Yeah, hey, thanks for coming on the podcast.
This is fun.
I usually like the off the riff stuff, and it makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
Instead of having a bullet point of I gotta ask these questions, and then I feel like I'm way more engaged when I can just when we're just talking.
Yeah.
About a topic, I guess per se, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast, and if you guys have listened to all the other ones, feel free to drop in the comments below that you watched David's last one and mention something from there, and maybe we'll shout them out or something like that.
All 4 of you.
Whatever.
We appreciate you.
Thanks for watching, guys, this episode of Whiskey Business Podcast, and we'll see you